Could it be? With me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to the Command Post Game Live show. Washington gets their second win in a row, 23-10 over the Houston Texans. There was a consistent theme throughout the week, and it's so good to see the fellas execute. Talk is cheap. I talked about that during the course of the week. The message was clear. It was concise. We're not overlooking the Texans. We're not going to focus on the record, but rather the team that can come out and beat you. We're not going to allow the emotional high of the Monday night win on a short week to cloud the message and the focus, which is to go and get a win on the road versus the Houston Texans. This was our second consecutive road game, the first time we had done that all season. It's the only time we will do that unless there is bonus football. And even then, unless we win multiple playoff games in a row, we don't have to go on the road 2 games in a row. Okay, just did it for the only time this season. Now we're going to go home, play the Atlanta Falcons, Giants after that, and then we'll see where everything kind of falls. We're right in the thick of things in the playoff race and chase, as we've mentioned already. Big win here, gets you over 500. Saw a stat, Washington over 500 this late in the season for the first time since 2018, that Alex Smith season. That is ridiculous. Glad that that's over and we don't have to hear about that anymore. And so big win in the sense of dominating. Okay. There are some big takeaways from this game. There are some things that were disappointing, some injuries that we're going to have to discuss and the severity of them. I was watching our next week's opponent. They had some injuries in their game that's going to potentially impact the game. And so we'll talk about all of that as the week progresses. But this was a quality win. You know, this is exactly what we were looking for. I would have liked to have seen more points. One of the things that really irked me in this game was the lack of execution in the red zone. That's been a problem all season long. We're not a good red zone offense. When we get down there, if we can't run it in, and we didn't today, if we can't run it in, we don't throw it effectively. Scott Turner doesn't do a great job of drawing it up. Now, last week against the Eagles, he had a play where 2 guys were open and Heinicke just, had pressure, but could have gotten it out of his hands and gotten it to one of those guys for an easy walk-in touchdown, but he just didn't. That wasn't the case today, at least not from, first blush. Again, film will tell the story, but we'll see what happens as to, why we didn't execute better in the red zone. We kicked too many field goals today. You had a 24-yard field goal. You had a 25-yard field goal from Joey Slye. Now, knowing your opponent, you take the points. There's nothing to talk about. The Texans were being dominated offensively. They had 6 yards of total offense at halftime, the lowest number of any team in the league this season at halftime. Their running back, Dameon Pierce, who we talked about all week, have to stop him. He had -2 yards in the first half. Okay, so the message was clear, and we went out and we executed. They weren't going to run the football. Make Davis Mills beat you. I told you the guy's a turnover machine. He holds on to the ball too long. 5 sacks today for this defense. Okay, he holds on to the ball too long. He makes poor decisions with the football. He'll make a throw here and there where you go, man, that's a nice throw. But for the most part, he's going to cancel it out with a mistake or two, and he's going to hold on to the ball and get sacked. He did all of those things, but you can't get him to do that if you don't stop the run, because they're just going to continue to hand it off. We took Dameon Pierce out of the game. We made number 10 have to beat us. He was incapable of doing it. And so that was great execution on the part of this defense. They were the linchpin today that held this game together, because the offense really didn't get it going for the first 2 or 3 possessions. Then they started to move the football, but again, didn't finish drives. Need touchdowns. Again, you can't kick 24 and 25-yard field goals, not against good teams, and expect to win consistently. However, you're playing the Texans. They're struggling. Just keep putting points on the board. Just keep field goal them to death if you need to. Just keep putting points on the board. They're not going to catch you. That's what Washington did. We didn't have to sweat. Remember, I said, I just for once would like a game where we don't sweat at the end, where we win comfortably by 2 scores, and we're not worried about anything. The decision isn't in the balance. Okay, the game isn't hanging over our heads and we're on pins and needles. Someone had the audacity, and they may have been joking, but someone in the MOBB had the audacity to say this game is boring. That's what I want. I want boring with us on top. Okay? Like missionary. I want boring on top. That's what we were today. I loved every second of it. Give me boring every single week. I'll take it. All right. So I was excited about the performance today by this team collectively again. All right. Defense set the tone early and often. Offense did what they needed to do. They did not turn it over. Now, Heinicke tried on the first possession, should have been picked off. But outside of that, we weren't close to turning the football over really in this game. And that was the only thing that was going to give the Texans an opportunity to fight us and potentially steal this game from us, was if we turned the football over, if we assisted, aided, and abetted them in hanging around and trying to steal this game. We would have none of it today. The defense took them completely out of the game in the first half. The offense did what they needed to do. We were up 20-0 at half. This game was over at halftime, unless we imploded in the second half. And we did no such thing. The Texans went on a marathon drive to start the second half and only came away with a field goal. Ate up half of the third quarter clock. Only came away with 3 points. At that point, I knew the game was over unless we did something foolish or gave up a 72-yard touchdown strike and allowed them right back into it just like that. That was the only way they were going to come back. And so it was really good to see the defense do what it did today. I need more from the offense. In games like today, this is just fine. Okay, again, know thy opponent. Know that the Texans aren't going to score a bunch of points. We talked about that all week long. They're not a high-scoring team. The only way they're going to beat us is if we come down to their level. All right? Score more points, though. I know the league is down as a whole. I don't give a shit about that. The league as a whole doesn't have anything to do with us individually. Go out and get 30 this week. We should have. We didn't. That's disappointing. But again, I'm not lamenting that. A win's a win in the National Football League, and this was impressive because they went out and did the thing that we said they needed to do, which was jump the Texans early. That pick six by Kendall Fuller, huge, set the tone, because that was not a good opening drive offensively for Washington. It was as ugly as it gets, if you want to be honest. And so, barring a sack, which we didn't take on that possession, but it wasn't as bad as the Eagles' first drive, right? 3 and out, then you get it back with the roughing the kicker, and then you fumble. But it was ugly. That pick six calmed everybody down. It calmed including the fans, including myself and everybody else watching. That pick six said, hey, not today. And what did I say? The Texans are going to win 1 or 2 more games this season. Our job is to make sure that they know early, not today. Maybe next week. Maybe the week after that, not today. That pick six said loud and clear, not today. So that felt good. My biggest takeaway from this game, outside of the clear message that was sent out to the players and them understanding, comprehending, processing, and then going out and executing the message, that's the number one overarching theme, which is why this is different, which is why this team is different, but why Ron Rivera is different. Because again, with Jay Gruden, this is a loss. You get a big win to come back and lose the following week and cancel out the big win you just got. But the biggest thing I saw today that I take away that I'm excited about is the emergence of Logan Thomas. The tight end position has been non-existent this season. Logan Thomas has been battling injuries. He's been in and out of the lineup. He hasn't really been a factor this year. If we can get 82 back in the mix as a problem, as a chain mover, as a guy that the quarterback can be reliant upon as a safety blanket on third down, like they came with that all-out blitz. Heinicke is under duress. He jumps in the air, throws it to Logan Thomas on a shallow cross, and Logan, I didn't know he had this in him, outran a defender and turned the corner. I said, Logan, where did these wheels come from? I ain't seen you do that since your Virginia Tech days. So if he was our leading receiver today, 5 catches, like 65 yards. I venture to say that has eclipsed his entire season total. I don't know if that's true or not. Feels like it has eclipsed his season total because he's been absolutely non-existent this season, along with the rest of the tight end position, not named Amani Rodgers. So to get Logan Thomas back being effective will do wonders for this offense. It will open up a lot of things if he can all of a sudden become the Logan Thomas that we've come to know and love. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. Antonio Gibson was outstanding today. So was Brian Robinson. The run game, again, as a whole, really solid. Love the utilization of Curtis Samuel. Again, he has to touch it. He touched it today. The touchdown run was not actually a run. It was did they call that they might have called it a pass. I thought he tapped it to him, but maybe it was a run. Either way, because Heinicke didn't have a touchdown, or officially didn't have a touchdown pass in this game. So I guess they did call it a run. I thought he just tapped it to him, but nonetheless, whatever the case may be, Curtis Samuel needs to touch it. He did touch it today. And every time he touches it in the run game, I always have a feeling something big can happen. And we saw that again today. Couple of runs, couple of big runs, one for a touchdown. We need more plays to Curtis Samuel in the run game. I'm glad that we're not having to go a week or two without seeing him touch it in the run game. I think Scott Turner has gotten the message loud and clear. I actually thought there was too many, razzle-dazzle type runs, to get my old man vernacular on. I thought it was too many, fake this, fake counter, toss it to Jahan Dotson on a little bit of a reverse type deal or end around. All of this trickery and then hand it to Terry McLaurin. I thought it was a little bit too much of that going on and not enough focus on, hey, let's just give it to our backs and let them pound these boys. But the Texans got to give them credit early in the game. They were doing a good job of stopping the run. So the misdirection, as I've always said, and if you watch the film and if you've been watching it with me, I've made it a point of emphasis to say we're at our best when we run counters. When you've got tight ends and guards and tackles pulling and being lead blockers, specifically the tight ends, you send a tight end in motion. You got another tight end on the wing. That tight end pulls around. The guy that comes in motion, he's the first to lead in the hole. That other tight end off the wing comes around as a puller in a counter motion. Heinicke fakes one way, turns the other way, allows that thing to develop. That other tight end comes in. He's your lead blocker, and you hit it behind him. That's when we are at our best, if you ask me. When we're pulling guys, when it's counter action, things of that nature. Now I want to see them get something going from the passing game off that counter action. We've been so effective in the run game off of that. At some point, you need to be able to reap the benefits of that via the pass. But nonetheless, Antonio Gibson was outstanding today. He averaged over 4 yards a carry. Brian Robinson's yards per carry, never going to be eye-popping, but there were some big runs in this game. None bigger than the 3rd and 2, I believe it was. Looked like he was initially stopped. Drags like 3 guys and picks up 3 yards in the first down. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Brian Robinson is an animal. That play was right there, to me, indicative of what he's been for us this season and why we need him, okay? So that 1-2 punch, it's becoming dynamic. And this is the first time that we've actually seen them do the thing that they said they would do in a game, which is ride the hot hand. Even though I don't think the amount of carries was that there wasn't this big discrepancy between the two of them. You had Gibson with 18, Robinson with 15. That's a good mix. But normally Robinson is the guy that gets the most carries, right? But Gibson had the hot hand in this game. So they rode the hot hand, 18 carries, 72 yards. Robinson, 15 carries, 57 yards. Again, not going to wow you with the average, but again, it's the tough, dirty yards that he gets. That 3rd and 2 that I just referenced, huge. Samuel, they did count that as a run. So 2 carries, 18 yards, and the touchdown in the red zone. Dotson had a carry. Heinicke had 3 carries. McLaurin had a carry. And so they spread it around. A lot of guys touched it in the run game, which is fine by me. But as long as the 3 guys in particular touch it in the run game, that's all I need to see. And that's Gibson, that's Robinson, and Samuel. Those are the 3 that are a must for me on a weekly basis. Those guys, obviously the top 2 guys are going to touch it. Samuel has to touch it as well. And so really thought that Scott Turner did a really good job in mixing up the runs. And I thought he did the thing that I thought he was going to do early in the game, which is go away from the run. There was a 3rd and 1, and he couldn't help himself, just like last week where we got down there, we were pounding the Eagles, and it's 2nd and goal from the 3, and instead of him running it twice, he had to go play action fake. It was incomplete last week. Then they 3rd down, Heinicke gets sacked. Instead of him 3rd and 1, the Texans haven't stopped us on the 3rd and 1 yet. Just run the football. He couldn't help himself, had to go play action fake, and now you're throwing it to John Bates. That's never a good thing, okay? Never a good idea to throw it to John Bates in a gotta-have-it situation on 3rd down and 1, unless he's wide open in the flats, which he was not on that play. So, again, sometimes Scott can get a little cute. He can overthink a situation. Just run the football. The Texans haven't stopped it in this game yet. In that situation in short yardage, make them stop it. But outside of that, thought Scott was fine. Heinicke's performance, solid. It wasn't great. He missed some throws. Early, he was a little skittish. I thought he looked like a guy that was playing to try to keep his job instead of just going out and playing the kind of football we know he's capable of playing. You know, thought he was pressing a bit early, and he almost threw a pick. Had Jahan Dotson after he extended the play with his legs, which you love to see. And he could have run for the first down, but he decided to throw. Which I don't mind. Dotson was open. Make the throw. He missed the throw. We got a punt. And so I thought he was a little bit erratic early. He settled in. And really what settled him in was the run game. And I said, look, the run game isn't helping him. We don't want Taylor Heinicke. We don't want to look up. And Heinicke's got 36 passing attempts today. Like, the run game needs to come to the forefront and announce their arrival in this game. And as soon as they did, as soon as we started getting the ground game going, Heinicke settled in. He started throwing darts. Next thing you know, we're down in the red zone, and Curtis Samuel is in the end zone, and we're up 14-0. So the run game is huge. It's going to be huge moving forward. And whether we're running for 4 yards a carry or 3.5 or 3 yards, we just have to stick with it. It's never going to be pretty with this team because our offensive line isn't dominant. But you got to stick with the run. It's what's going to ultimately give us a chance to win games. We know the formula now. For so long, we were searching for an identity. What are we as a football team? Offensively, what are we defensively? We know exactly what we are on both sides of the football now. We're not a pressure team on defense. We play a lot of coverage, but we want to get pressure on the quarterback with a lot of twists and stunts, a lot of games up front to pressure your quarterback, hit him, disrupt him, get him uncomfortable. And we're going to play coverage on the back end of that. All right, match coverage. We're not going to play a ton of man-to-man coverage. And, that's what we're doing. We're going to come up. We're going to be effective as tacklers and try to get you down on the ground and force you to beat us. We're not going to beat ourselves on the defensive side of the football. For the first game, we didn't give up a big play over the top. No explosive runs, no explosive passes. There was the pass where John Bostic, which for the life of me, I don't even know how this happens, but he ended up one-on-one with their best receiver, who's also a 4-3 guy, and Brandon Cooks. How does John Bostic end up on him one-on-one? I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't have the answers here, but that happened. And, of course, he got cooked, and that was the biggest gain of the day for the Texans. But outside of that, I think ended up going for like 35 yards. Outside of that, I thought we did a really good job of containing them. No big plays, nothing easy or cheap. They had to earn everything that they got. Everything. And honestly, I wanted them to get no touchdowns. I thought it was going to be tough for us to keep them out of the off the scoreboard, but I just wanted to keep them out of the end zone. 3 would have looked real good today. And they had like 16 fourth downs, and they converted every single one of them. That was frustrating today, is that we couldn't get off the field against this team on fourth down. I think they were 4-4 on fourth downs, if I'm not mistaken, including 3 of 3 on that drive where they scored the touchdown to make it 23-10. But nonetheless, solid performance all the way around. Joey Sly, he's a sly guy. 3 of 3 in the field goal department, including a 48-yarder, if I'm not mistaken. It was from about 48, maybe 44. Banged that home in addition to the 24 and the 25-yarder. Made all of his extra points. So, again, clean there. Just a total team effort again. All 3 phases did their jobs, come out on top. 23-10. We're over 500 at 6-5. Looky. The Giants lose. We'll see what the Dallas Cowboys do. The Eagles were on the ropes. They won in the same fashion that we did against Indy late in the game, 17-16, exact same score. Indy had their chances. Eagles barely get away, but they got away. But that's not my concern, because I don't think we can catch the Eagles, at this point. I'm not concerned about – I'm concerned about catching Dallas and the Giants. I think both of them are within reach. We play both of them on the schedule, especially the Giants. We got 2 against them. They're starting to show their colors. All right. We know who the Giants are. They're not going to score a bunch of points. And so they're right in our wheelhouse. We got them twice. And so I got my eye on the Giants after this loss. They're now 7-2. I'm looking at the Giants saying, hey, you look like food, man. You look like they're 7-3, matter of fact. They look like food to me. And I watched the Lions devour them. Yum, yum, eat them up. Yum, yum, eat them up. So I got my eye on the Giants. I got my eye on the Cowboys. If they lose today, we're a half game behind Dallas. That would put them at 6-4. We're 6-5. So, you know, this whole notion of, oh, man, we got to sneak in the 7th seed. F that. We can overtake teams in our own division. We may not catch Philly, but we can catch the Cowboys. We can catch the Giants. One at a time, though. Don't overlook anybody. Don't start counting victories. Don't look too far ahead. The Falcons are next. And we talked about this stretch. I talked about this going into the Eagles game when we were sitting there at 4-5. How big it would it be to beat the Eagles, get to 5-5, because the next two are very winnable games. Now you got to go out and get it done. But that's 5 out of 6 now for this football team. Don't tell me we're not playing good football. It doesn't have to be pretty. What the Giants have done this season, far from pretty. Doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be gritty. And most importantly, a dub. 5 out of 6. And it easily could have been 6 straight. Should have been 6 straight. Should be 7 straight if you count the Titans game. But we're not counting that. We ain't worrying about that. 5 out of 6. We're going to talk about what has happened. 5 out of 6. We're playing damn good football. Damn good football. This feels good. Now, you got to go home and get some Falcons team that's just like you, fighting for their playoff lives. They're fighting. They won today. They beat Chicago. They're 5-6. They won in. They're going to have to beat teams like us to get there. We can't all go, all right? Everybody's not getting invited to the dance. Everybody's not getting a ticket. Not everybody, when they shut that door and they lock it, not everybody's going to get a chance to get in. The Falcons are going to be one of these teams that probably is going to be on the outside looking in. But they're like, hey, if we can't go, y'all ass ain't going. They're going to try to stop us. We got to take care of business next week, but we got plenty of time to talk about that. Celebrate! We did what we were supposed to do today. All right. Let's get to the comment section. See what you guys have to say. All right. See what you guys are on today. Lance Eubank, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Lance writes, the offense not sustainable, and everyone knows it. Why is it not sustainable? Who is everybody? Don't speak for me. You might be speaking for other people. I like to just speak for myself a lot of times. Don't speak for me. I'm not a part of everyone, because today, what we did today is sustainable. What we did against the Eagles on Monday night, that's not. Running it 49 times, that's not sustainable. We didn't come close to 49. We ran it 40 times a day. That's sustainable. You can run it 40 times in a ball game. That's sustainable. Okay. Running it 50 times, that's not sustainable. So what we did today, definitely sustainable. Got no issues with what was done today offensively. You can win football games doing what we did today. So I don't necessarily agree with that narrative of this isn't sustainable. Last week wasn't sustainable. This week is. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Metaphor writes, Lou, a dub, 3 points, second half, bring in Carson. All right. I don't even know what that means, but I can tell you this. I don't know if you guys saw the reports, but apparently Ron Rivera has made his decision, and they're sticking with Taylor Heinicke as long as he continues to play well. But most importantly, as long as his team continues to win. Heinicke is never going to be the prettiest at the bar, right? He's not the one that you go in looking to go and talk it up with so you can try to take him home. All right. He's the one that after 7, 8 beers starts to look really, really good, right? That's Taylor Heinicke. It's always going to be Taylor Heinicke. But he always gets the job done. What is he now? 13-7 or something like that in his last 20 starts here in Washington? Something to that effect. He's over 500 as a starter. I might be over exaggerating his record. Pardon me for that. But I know he's over 500 as a starter. I think he was think he was 9-8 at one point, beat the Eagles 10-8. I think he won again today. Makes it 11-8. Maybe I might have given him an extra one, but whatever the case may be, which means he can't be 13-7, whatever the hell I just said. But he's won a lot of games, is what I'm saying. Put it that way. Maybe not 8-4 now. He's 9-4 in his last 12 or 13 starts, something to that effect. He's winning football games. That's the most important part. Nobody's debating on whether he's the future at the quarterback position. I think we've all come to the realization that he's not that. But for what we're trying to do this year, the momentum you're trying to build, he's the man for the job. So we'll see what happens. Andrew Webster, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, above 500 and it feels so good. Feels good, feels good. Can't believe some folks were saying it was boring. If that was boring, I'd love to be bored every week. Thank you. Amen to that. Ding, ding, ding. I said the same thing, right? Like, you had people in the comment section of the mob talking about how boring. And again, maybe they were joking. I think they were dead ass, right? Dead ass serious. They much rather be, having heart palpitations and needing the defibrillator to bring them back to life after another nail biter at the edge of your seat. For what? We've had enough of those shits already. We'll have more this season. We're not done with those. Wasn't it nice for a change to not have to do that? To not be at the edge of your seat with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, hoping that we hold on or come back and win? Again, I'm right there with you, Andrew. If being boring, if this is being boring, being bored, sign me up for boredom every single week. I was like, what are you guys, 5? I got to tell my 4-year-old son, you're not going to have fun all the time. Sometimes you're going to have to do things that you have to do, like cleaning up your room. That's not fun. Everything's not going to be fun. What are you, 5? We won a game comfortably. You should be excited about that. Talking about that was boring. Yeah, right. I love it. I'm right there with you, Andrew. Say it again for those in the back. AJ Meehan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou, check Twitter and throw it up. All right. Check Twitter. All right. Let's see what we got on Twitter. Make sure it ain't no BS. All right. All right. Is this tweet from you? Left hand up. Cool beans. You didn't have to stop me to tell me to go check that though. Left hand up. Hey, I told you, I'm no hater. I ain't no hater or nothing, but ooh. I ain't no hater or nothing. If y'all want to throw the left hand up, throw the left hand up. I got both hands up. I already told y'all what I'm doing. I'm trying to protect mine with both hands up. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Texas Cheeks clapped. Indeed. Now, we got one more Texas team's cheeks to clap later on in the season, but that's way later. That's week 18, last week of the season talk. But one Texas team down, another one to go. Indeed. AJ Meehan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. AJ Meehan, who writes, officially saying we got the best safety duo since Sean and LaRon. We set back deep for years to come. Feels that way. It feels good. They got Percy Butler on the field a little bit today too. So it's good to see that young fella out there getting to run around other than just special teams. But Bobby's now in the slot, so that means more opportunities and run for Percival Butler. We'll see what he does, but we know what it is. It's Cam Curl. It's Derek Forrest. Defoe with another pick today. How about that diving stab? I told y'all he's not Sean Taylor, all right? And there never will be another Sean Taylor. But as far as we've seen at the safety position for this team, he's the closest we've seen to anybody with the attributes of a Sean Taylor. Now, he's not the hitter. He's not the physically imposing size guys that Sean was a monster type of guy in terms. He wore the biggest shoulder pad. I don't have to explain to you. I'm not going down memory lane. He's not Sean Taylor, but athletically, he's the closest thing we've seen to a guy that fits that DNA profile. And made another great play. That play he made today, that's a play Sean Taylor makes. Like just running, hustling, and the ball's in the air and he just goes and attacks it and goes and gets it, plucks it, gets down in bounds. It's a big time play. Texans don't know what they were doing at that point of the game. It's not like we were ever threatened, but you just wanted to run off some more clock, right? That's what we did there. It was 23-3 at the time. So we were in no danger, but let's keep it that way. And that play was huge. Big play by Juice on the play. Did get banged up. I didn't even know he got injured. A lot of people were saying, hope he's okay. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I see him walking around on the sidelines. I'm like, he's fine. Why do you guys keep talking about he's injured? Turned out he was, in fact, injured, did not enter the game again. So that's something to keep an eye on. Heinicke got banged up in this game. They were working on his back neck area. That's something to consider as we start talking about the Falcons next week. So we did not come away from this game. James Smith-Williams took a knee, was down for a little bit. Don't really know the extent of what happened to him. He seemed to get up, walk off fine, but that doesn't mean anything. We'll see what happens there. But, speaking of the injuries, Falcons had one. Their all-world tight end, who I was really afraid of, and look, he still made play. Kyle Pitts got injured, got hit on his knee, left the game, did not return. That's something to keep an eye on. Marcus Mariota scored a touchdown, got his ribs crunched, helmet right to his ribs, slow to get up as he scored that touchdown. That could be something that he feels tomorrow, and we later found out he has a cracked rib or something like that. He may still play, but he may not be as effective as a runner. We'll see. But those are things to keep in mind. But that Falcons team, very dangerous. We'll talk more about them as the week progresses. We're focusing in on this dub we got today over the Houston Texans. I feel like that back end looks damn good, like you said, for years to come. Cam Curl, going to have to lock him up here shortly. As a matter of fact, I think this is the offseason where you have to lock him up. He was a part of that 2020 draft, if I'm not mistaken. So 2020, 21, and 22, this is his third year in the league. So I think this is a year that you would really want to go ahead and get him a contract this offseason, if at all possible. Poopin' for Noopin'. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Poopin' for Noopin' writes, happy about the win, of course, but coach has to bench Ridgeway and discipline him. Knowing our history, he's going to cost us during a crucial game until Ron gets through his fat head. Okay, so let's talk about John Ridgeway, because one of the knocks on Ridgeway coming out of Arkansas was that he was a bit undisciplined, okay? He is a guy that from time to time is a loose cannon. We need those types of guys on our team. However, to your point, he definitely needs to be talked to. Like, the man literally power bombed Dameon Pierce and then got up celebrating like he had just done something good. Bro, this isn't a movie. Like, we're not power bombing guys. This ain't Waterboy. You get flagged for power bombs. Are you serious? He got up. No, did you see nobody else celebrated with him? Because it's like, bro, you went too far. Like, literally, the man is in between his legs. He's not going anywhere. They're about to blow the whistle. Play's dead. He instead picks him up and powerbomb. Like, John, what are you doing? He gets up. Like, no, John, no, that's not what we do up here. But love me some John Ridgeway. All right. Glad we got him. Glad he's a part of the team. And they just got to let him know, bro, we love your aggressiveness. That was a great play by John Ridgeway before the powerbomb. That's a great play. I love what he brings to the field. He's an animal. You don't sit animals down, okay? You don't cage animals. You teach animals when to strike, okay? That's a guy that we want to continue to play with that level of aggression. Just tone it down a bit, bro. Tone it down a bit, okay? I understand where you're coming from. He doesn't need to be sat down. They just need to talk to him. Hey, look, John, that shit's not okay, bro. We love what you did on that play. This is a great play. We shouldn't be having this conversation with you. That's an excellent effing play. We just don't need the power bomb, bro. Leave that out. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, was at the game and we took over that stadium. D dominated with 2 picks and 5 sacks. You love to see it. On to Atlanta, #HTTC. Oh, we definitely took over that stadium. You could see it. That when they did the pan shot around, it looked like more Washington fans than Houston fans. Again, they're 1-7-1 coming into the game, right? Like, they don't have a lot to cheer about. So if I'm a season ticket holder, I'm trying to see what Commanders fan is trying to get these tickets up off me, right? I mean, hell, Washington fans were doing the same thing at 1-4. I had my guy Sean Hawk asked me on Twitter to retweet his tweet about, hey, I got season tickets. Hey, I got individual dates. Y'all hit me up if you want these tickets. Aaron Rodgers coming to town. Like, that was at 1-4. Okay? So at 1-7-1, you best bet the Texans fans are bailing and trying to get rid of these tickets. Yeah, it looked like they sold a bunch of them to Commanders fans. But you know what? The one thing I've seen with this fan base is that it travels well. You know, when we go anywhere, it seems that there's a huge contingency of, you know, Commanders fans wherever we go. Doesn't matter. You know, there's certain stadiums you just ain't getting in because they not selling their tickets. Like, you're not coming in and infiltrating Arrowhead a lot of times. Green Bay, no way. You're not going in there and taking over the Packers Stadium. You know, there's just certain places it's going to be tough for you to get in no matter what their record is because their fans are rabid and they're not going to stop supporting their team. But most NFL stadiums, if your team isn't doing well, yeah, it's going to be easy to get in there. And we seem to find a way in. So it was good to see. Love it, Swaggy P. You did the most important thing. You went in, you understood the mission, you came out with the dub. Salutes to you. All right. Wilfredo Elias, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes. Jeff Scanina, seriously though, how bad was Mills? I told you guys that this is what Davis Mills. This is why I told you I was confident about this game. Super confident because nothing about the Texans scares me. And then you take away their best corner, which we really didn't exploit their secondary the way that I thought we would have with no Derek Stingley in the lineup. But they play a lot of zone. But still, I thought we would do more in the past game, but that's fine. Look, I just want to execute. We did after the slow start. We executed. That said, Davis Mills is not good. They're going to draft a quarterback. Right now, the Texans hold the number 1 pick in the draft. You got to know that no matter where they end up, 1, 2, 3, they're taking a quarterback. Like, Davis Mills is cool, but you can't continue when you're in this position, and the draft is this deep at the most important position. They're in a position right now to take the one that they perceive to be the best. They got to do that. I think it's Bryce Young, if you ask me, but some will like the size of CJ Stroud, and you can't teach size. Bryce Young doesn't have it, but what he lacks in size, he's got everything else, including poise and moxie and mental toughness. That kid, I just love him. So we'll see what the Texans do, but Davis Mills stinks, you know, and not in a way that he shouldn't be in the league stinks. He's a backup quarterback, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, they didn't spend the first round pick on Davis Mills. So they wanted to see what this kid could do, and this is the beauty of doing it the way that they did it. He got to play back into the season last year. He impressed them. They said, hey, let's give him a chance. Guess what? This quarterback draft coming up sucks. It did. So it was easy to pass on that position, give Davis Mills the rock and say, hey, bro, it's yours. Go do with it whatever you wish. And then say, hey, we're in a win-win situation. Either Davis Mills is going to prove to us that he's actually really good, or he's going to suck ass, and we're going to be right back in the position in the top 3, which they were last year. They drafted 2nd or 3rd overall. We're going to be right back in the same predicament. And this time we're going to have the opportunity to draft a quarterback. Well, they're number 1 right now, and they're going to have an opportunity to draft a quarterback. So, yeah, he sucks. He held on to it. He did all the shit that I said he was going to do. Held on to it way too long. We got 5 sacks. We really probably should have only had like 2 sacks in this game, but he held on to it way too damn long. So we got 5, 2.5 for Montez Sweat, a sack and a half for Jonathan Allen, and Daron Payne adds to his team leading 6.5 sacks. I think Allen is now just a half sack behind him now at 6. And Sweat might be tied with him too now. I think he's got 6 as well on the season. If not 6, he's got 5.5 now. But look, they're all jumbled there together. I love it. And think about this. We're going to get Chase Young back here shortly. You know, whether it's next week or whatever. Just because they activate him doesn't mean he has to play next week. It just means he's active, okay, off of IR. But he can still be inactive on the, game day roster. He could still be active, but inactive. You guys get what I'm saying. But yeah, Jeff Skanina deserves a ton of credit. Their rushing is one. That was the biggest difference from last year with Sam Mills III. They weren't rushing as one. Warren Sapp came in and said, hey, you four, you guys rush as one. Everybody's going to eat. And what are we seeing right now? Everybody's eating. Everybody's eating. And maybe you were talking about Sam Mills III, not Davis Mills. I just thought about it. Like, why would you mention Jeff Skanina and then mention Davis Mills? You're talking about Sam Mills. Yeah, well, look, do I need to elaborate on Sam Mills? I've been telling you guys for 2 years, Sam Mills sucks. Period. Sucks ass. He's the reason that this line isn't maximizing its potential. I said that when nobody else was saying it. Then it seemed like now, I will say there were guys like Matt Ioannidis who revolted immediately. Like, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He sucks. I want to be traded. And that was on the hush. Nobody was really talking about that, but Ioannidis was not happy. And remember, Ron, when he first got here, said guys weren't buying in. You want to know who wasn't buying in? The defensive line wasn't buying in. After Jim Tom, who a lot of those guys felt like was the best coach they've ever had, you get this guy coming in here and Sam Mills III, who they don't think knows a damn thing about playing defensive line. They're like, hey, this shit is garbage. And they weren't buying in. It's not a to me, it's not rocket science. And it's not a coincidence that Jeff Skanina takes over and all of a sudden now we lead the league in quarterback pressures and hits. Not shocked by that. Jahandre, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jahandre 3000 writes, Lou, what is the future at quarterback? We're not getting it in the draft. Spend the money where it's needed, linebacker, O-line, etc., and rock with what we got. What do we do moving forward? So here's the thing about quarterback. This is a deep quarterback draft class. And, look, everybody's going to talk about the ones at the top of the draft, and rightfully so, but there are going to be other guys in this draft that are going to be interesting. And it's your job as a staff to do the homework and find the guy that fits what you want to do and who you think translates to the NFL best and get that guy. Like, I'll give you an example. I was watching UCLA last night, and I'm not saying that, you want DTR, Dorian Thompson, but he's a guy that's going to be available in the draft. He's an athlete. He can throw the football. That's going to be a guy that, similar to like a Jalen Hurts, nobody's really talking about him. You can get him in the second round, third round. And again, I don't know how it's going to go, but there are a number of guys just like him. And we'll see who all declares. There may be one or two guys that I really like that may ultimately not declare and go back to school because it's such a deep draft class at quarterback that they may say, hey, I got a better chance next year of ascending to a top 5 pick than coming out this year and being a second or third round pick. Similar to Joe Burrow and some of the other guys that went back to school for that last year, and they saw their draft stock, absolutely skyrocket. So we'll see what guys decide to do, but you don't have to be in the top 5 to get you a good quarterback, especially in this year's draft class. You just got to be able to identify talent. You just got to be able to identify who's the guy, and you can trade up. The Chiefs traded up from 27 to 10 to get Patrick Mahomes. The Texans traded up from like 23 to 11 to get Deshaun Watson. Like, you don't have to be at 6 or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 to get a quarterback. We're going to be in a position next season, or this offseason rather, where we're going to have some options. There may be a guy or two available via like Derek Carr. The Raiders are going to draft a quarterback. Derek Carr is gone. Do you want Derek Carr? No, I don't want him either. But look, we didn't want Carson Wentz either, and look what happened. That's going to be the pool of quarterbacks that's going to be available. And we'll see what Ron decides to do. But who knows? Aaron Rodgers may be available. I can't tell you right now. There's too many different scenarios that can play itself out. Still a lot of football. The Raiders could win 5 out of their last 6 and not be anywhere near drafting a quarterback, and then Derek Carr's back. Or the Raiders could continue to suck ass. And I think right now they've got the second pick in the draft. They're not going to turn down an opportunity to draft a quarterback. Derek Carr is as good as gone if they've got the second pick in the draft, especially with Josh McDaniels there and having the opportunity to get his quarterback instead of inheriting Derek Carr. Like, it's a wrap. So then Derek Carr becomes expendable. Where does he end up? Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Does he want to finish his career in Green Bay, or is he sick of the foolishness and does he want out? Do the Packers want to move on from him? I don't know. We'll see. It's been a rough year for them. A lot of different, scenarios that could play itself out. You just got to sit back and allow it to, kind of all work itself out. But that's in the offseason. We 6-5 with a chance to make the postseason. That's what I'm more concerned with right now. Brendan McCloskey, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Bostic had me fuming at some points. Look, my son, obviously, I got a lot of little kids running around here, right? So one of the favorite movies of our kids is the movie Cars. Okay, the first one. There have been 3 of them. I've seen all 3 of them multiple times, but the first one is the one that they just can't get enough of, to the point where they watch it every single day. So one of the lines of the fabulous Doc Hudson, okay, when Lightning McQueen wrecks their roads in their city, in their town, he comes in, he sees this car, and he says, oh, I know his type, race car. I want him out of my, he said, I want him out of my courtroom and out of my town. Case dismissed. And he's about to slam the gavel. And in comes the other car, the female car. I forgot her name for a second. And he doesn't slam the gavel. And obviously we know how the rest of the movie goes. But I was watching John Bostic. I did all of that to say this. I was watching John Bostic today. I don't want him off my team. But I said, I want him out of my starting lineup, and I want him off my field. That's what I said today. I don't want him off my team. We need him. That's the state of the linebacker position. We need him. But I want him out of my starting lineup, and I want him off my field. Case dismissed. That's where we at right now, though. Yeah, he had me upset at a little bit. But I'm more upset at the fact that he was matched up with Brandon Cooks one-on-one. Again, sometimes you find yourself in defensive coverages where they just call the perfect play to end up getting you in those types of situations that you don't want to be in. And that's a coordinator's dream offensively, and that's a defensive coordinator's nightmare. And they got what they wanted. And Mills found him, and it was a disaster. But that play was not the one that really the one that made me say I want him out of my lineup and off my field was the 4th and 4 where Davis Mills is running at him and he's just standing. That he did the John Bostic thing, right? Freeze, 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 freeze. Like, bro, go make a tackle. He did the same shit against Jared Goff when he ran into the end zone for the touchdown last week. He did the same shit where he's just like standing there and they end up getting the first down. Like, go! What are you standing there for? Go! And Davis Mills is running at him and he's just freeze. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna stop. And he ends up getting the first down. Like, you bum. Anyway, I digress. That was the one that made me say, hey, get his ass off the field. Great Watubi. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Ridgeway turned into Captain Insano and opened a can of whoop ass. Other than Logan's best game, he says, think Logan's best game since injury. Yeah, definitely. This isn't even close. This is the best game since Logan returned by miles. And it's so good to see because down the stretch, we're going to need him. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow on the show, but they put Amani Rodgers on IR. I don't know if you guys saw that. So he's not going to be available for the next month. So just keep that in mind as well. We're going to need the tight end position to step up, and I need 82. All of these young guys, it's cool, but he's the leader of that group. I need him to step up, and it looks like he's ready to do that. So that was good to see. And yeah, he did turn into Captain Insano, right? He really turned into Water Boy, but Captain Insano shows no mercy. He didn't show any mercy on that damn play, that's for sure. But we can't be having that. Spence Kalis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, yes, ugly, but a win is a win. In the past, we lose this. That's the point that I think myself and others were trying to make, is that I didn't expect us, like there were some of you out there, predicting 37, 40 spot, this, that. I'm like, I don't know where you guys are getting this optimism from, but it's cute. I like it. I like the confidence that you have in this team, but there's no empirical proof nor evidence that shows that this team is capable of scoring 32 weeks in a row, 40. That's insane. I mean, nobody in the league is scoring 40. Only the elite of the elites are scoring 40. We're definitely not that. So I was like, my score was 26-17. We scored 23 points. Not that far off, The defense was way more dominant than I thought they were going to be. Thought this game would be a little bit closer than it was. I'm glad that they dominated the way that they did to allow us to play the type of game that we played. I wouldn't even classify this as an ugly win. I honestly don't think that that's the term you use for this. The Bears win was ugly. This wasn't ugly. This wasn't ugly. This was a solid win. That's what you call today's victory. Solid win. Solid in all three phases. Really dominant on the defensive side, but solid in all three phases. Never trailed. Never was close. Solid win. This wasn't ugly. Nothing about this was ugly other than the red zone offense and efficiency. That was ugly. You go 1 of 3 in the red zone, kick a field goal from 24 and 25 respectively. That's ugly. But this was a dominant performance. So especially on the defensive side, I wouldn't call it ugly. I call it solid. And this is a game that either we struggle to win or we lose in the past. More likely than not, we lose. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Logan Thomas is back. You know what that reminds me of? Coming to America, one of my favorite movies, where, Akeem is walking from the restaurant and he's got that bag of money he took from Simi, and he sees the two old guys from Trading Places out there homeless, Mortimer, Randolph. He gives them the bag. We're back. That's what I looked at Logan Thomas. I said, Logan, we're back. I felt so good to see him make that one catch where Heinicke exposed him. I mean, he had to stretch every bit of his 6'6", 6'7" frame and catch that football. Are you kidding me? And he took a shot and he came down with it. I said, he's back. Now we cooking. If Logan's back with Jahan, Terry, and Curtis, with a sprinkle of Diami and Cam Sims, who had a catch today, it's going to be tough for defenses to defend. It really is. We just got to protect the quarterback. Heavy K, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Heavy K, Commander fan. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, hey, Lou, who would you rather play, Hudson, Bostic, or Mayo? Clearly, they don't trust Hudson, so he's out of the question. Like, we know he's a much better athlete than both Mayo and Bostic, but clearly they don't trust him. Whatever the case may be, physically, I mean, he's an undersized backer, so maybe they don't think he can hold up in the run game. Maybe they don't trust him mentally to be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. They have a comfort level, whether we like it or not, with David Mayo and John Bostic, and it is what it is. So you can't ask me. I would much rather go with the upside of a Khaleke Hudson, but clearly I'm not there every day. Clearly they don't trust Khaleke Hudson. He didn't even make the football team this year. So I think between the two veterans, I think Mayo is the more aggressive of the two. Bostic is the more athletic of the two, but you don't see his athleticism because he never runs. He's so hesitant. So I probably would take David Mayo. I think I would prefer my glob of Mayo over Bostic because Mayo's going to knife in the backfield and make a tackle for loss, a 2-yard loss, because he's not afraid. He's going to shoot his gun. He sees it. He's going to go. Bostic is sitting there strifing. And then if you don't know, he's going to freeze. So I'd much rather go with the dude that's not afraid. And David Mayo, he's not afraid. So give me Mayo. But you know what it is. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, ain't nothing wrong with missionary, Lou. It's not, okay? But it's the most basic and standard position there is. And there's nothing wrong with it at all, okay? I'm just saying, if that's boring, sign me up. Sign me up, okay? That's it. B-Hat, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. B-Hat writes, Taylor's moon ball must be next to impossible to catch if you're playing defense. I don't know how he didn't get picked. One play away from disaster. That wouldn't have necessarily been a disaster. That throw was, I think it was on the second down. We didn't convert anyway. We ended up punting. So it would have resulted in a punt unless Petrie catches that ball and then returns it to the Washington 37-yard line. Then it's a disaster. But he threw that thing 45 yards down the field. He would have, if Terry tackles him, and I don't know if Terry would have because Terry, stumbled on the ground and whatnot. I don't know if he gets him down, but if Terry gets him down, it's a punt. He's at the Texans, 32-yard line or something like that if he catches it and Terry tackles him. But the point is you don't want interceptions. They change momentum, right? It's a big difference between him picking that ball off, whether he gets a great return or not, and just the feeling of, oh, we just picked him off. Hey, we could go have ourselves a ball game. Let's go beat these bums. Versus he drops it, we punt, they throw a pick six. You see how it switches that quick? So, that wasn't even a real moon ball per se. That was more of Heinicke trusting Terry, but not really giving Terry a chance. That wasn't a good throw. I didn't mind the decision, but that was more of a ball that needed to be put on a line. Like, that didn't need to be hung up in the air. Like Terry was behind the defender or even with him. That defender was over the top of Terry. He needed to put that on more of a rope so that Terry could have a chance and that defender being behind him would be shielded from the football. But he's got to do better than that. Clapping Big Texas cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Big Four on TV crying someone give him a beer. Is he really? He could be crying because of the opportunity that's presented itself. He went into this season thinking he was going to back up Carson Wentz, and now this may be his team for the remainder of the season if he continues to play well. He might be overcome with emotion and overwhelmed by, the situation. Again, keep in mind, this man was on his sister's couch just two years ago. All right. This time 2 years ago, he was studying for a math exam and on his sister's couch. Didn't even have his own dwelling. So, that's some emotional shit, man, to realize how far. And remember, he's got a contract coming his way this offseason. It ain't going to be a whole hell of a lot of money, but it's going to be good money for him. So, yeah. And remember, every game he starts, there's an incentive in his contract. Every game he wins, there's more money coming to him. Like, he wasn't guaranteed every single cent in his contract. He had to earn that by playing. And by him continuing to win and continuing to play, he continues to earn. This is big. All right. These every game he starts and plays and wins, it's big because it's more money for him. Atlas013, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, first game seeing the boys. We were there in the Groves. Glad to bring home the dub. Got to dap up Sweat and Sims. Was that after the game as they were walking to the tunnel? I saw them dapping up a whole lot of dudes. You might have been one of them. If that was, that's pretty cool, man. That's a cool moment and scene right there. Again, much like Swaggy P, you knew what it was. You went in. You knew what the mission was. You weren't dissuaded. You weren't distracted. You went in there and you brought home the dub. Salutes. Good job. Wilfredo Elias, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Wilfredo, who writes, Ridgeway looking for an extension from the WWE. LOL. I don't know what the hell he was looking for there, but I was like, no, don't do that, you know. And like I said, he was hyped after he did it. Nobody else was hyped, just him. Like, bro, what the hell? All right. I was looking at him like the dude from the program that was taking steroids. When the coach looked in his eyes and knew he started taking steroids again, I was looking at him like, bro, you all right? Son, you okay? Like, he was tripping. He was tripping. There's tripping and then there's tripping. He was tripping. Jeff Antonio, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Jeff writes, what up, Lou? What's up, Jeff? He says, I've been saying Heinicke is not a permanent solution, but in the great words of Ric Flair, he's the best thing going around today. Woo! Taylor needs correct. He said Taylor needs correct enough for us to have a team for now. How say you, Lou? He's exactly what we need for now. I couldn't agree with you more, Jeff. He's exactly what this team needs right now. It isn't pretty. All right, but he's gritty. And most importantly, he finds ways to get dubs. And that's all that matters. I'd like to see him use his legs a little bit more. I think he is trying to convince himself that he can do all his damage from the pocket. Don't be Carson Wentz. Part of the reason you're in the lineup is because of what you can do off schedule with your legs. All right, don't stop doing that and become, restricted to just pocket work. There were times where I thought he could have made something. And like the Vikings game, there were times today that reminded me and was reminiscent of the Vikings game where I'm like, bro, take off. What are you waiting on? If you don't like what you see, if you don't trust what you see, go. Don't just stand there. Run. Go. He didn't do it today. You like that play he got hurt on when he was limping off the field? He could have taken off and run. What are you standing? The pocket is literally collapsing around you. Don't jump in the air and try to throw it to Cole Turner in the flats. Run. He should have run. So, yeah, he's not the permanent answer, but he's the answer for right now. Excuse me. Jay Sauer 1990. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I feel like they were trying to play it safe in the second quarter. They as in the Texans, because the Commanders weren't. I mean, we scored 13 points in the second quarter. Now, we settled for field goals. Obviously, you'd like to score touchdowns there. But again, know thy opponent. This particular game, you have to know that you're playing the Texans. You're not playing a dynamic offensive football team that can score a bunch of points. And so you need touchdowns. You're playing a team that struggles to put points on the scoreboard. So if field goals are what you like, the only thing I was saying when we were up 14-0 was, hey, just don't turn it over. There's nothing you can do that hurts us here other than a turnover. You score a touchdown, great. You're going to bury these dudes. You kick a field goal, cool. You're just adding to the lead and making it tougher on a team that struggles to score anyway. So once we got down there, just don't turn it over. Don't have a ball, carry them off somebody's hands. Because the last time we played the Texans, if you recall, back in matter of fact, it was 2018. That was the game Alex Smith got hurt in. We were winning that game. And then the ball gets tipped off of somebody's hands, and it gets picked off down in the red zone. I want to say it was Justin Reed that picked it off and took it the other way. And that changed that whole game. We were winning that game. We weren't dominated. We were playing okay in that game, but we shouldn't have been trailing. And we ended up losing that game. And that was the beginning of the end. Alex Smith got hurt in that game. We lost that game, and the season kind of went down the tubes after that. Just don't let something like that happen in this game. And they didn't. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Edward writes, finally gave this team my hope and they didn't crush it. Nice to be able to relax, hate seeing us lay off as if we know how to finish off teams whenever we want. Again, I don't think this was a layoff type of situation. We're just not good in the red zone. Okay. This wasn't, they didn't say, hey, the Texans aren't going to catch us. Let's just settle for field goals. They just couldn't execute because we've struggled to execute in the red zone, i.e. the Titans game, i.e. polishing off the Eagles when we had a chance last week. We struggle in the red zone, okay? That's been a thing all season long. We struggled in the red zone. So this was no different. This wasn't a case of playing with your food. We just happy to eat. You know, we don't really know what it's like to consistently eat. So we're just happy to have food on our plate. We ain't playing with the shit. We scarfing it down. Don't get it twisted. But we just don't know. We just don't know what it's like to have food and have it be a 5-course, not 4, 5-course meal. We don't know what that looks like. All right. We used to hamburger helper and quick meals that you throw in the, you know, on the stove or in a microwave. We used to microwave dinners around here. Hungry Mans and shit like that. So when you actually put real food cooked from scratch that looks the way that it's been looking for us, like, we don't really know what to do with that. We're going to eat it. We like, you sure this is for me? I'm not upset. I just would like to see them execute better. But again, this is who they are. This is who they've been. They haven't shown me anything different. So I'm not confused, nor am I taken aback when they give me what they've been giving me all season. You understand? You see where I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? It's not a surprise because this is what they've been doing all year. DC Fan 88. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Lou, we looked good. Houston looked like us several years ago. I'm glad we didn't draft Green. He got his ass whooped today. Look, that kid might be fine, but what he was going up against today is tough for anybody to deal with as a rookie. He got exposed by two of the best in the business. We've got the best interior defensive line tandem in the league, and I'll go against anybody that wants to challenge us. What do you got? Bring it to the table. I'm going to take my guys, Allen and Payne, over whatever you got. Individually, you might have one guy better, and I've already said there's only 3 guys in the league better than Jonathan Allen right now in the way he's playing. Big Jeff Simmons in Tennessee, Jones in Kansas City, and Aaron Donald. That's it. That's the list. It's short, and that's it. Payne ain't too far behind. You could slide some other guys in front of him, though. But Payne is outstanding. So is Jonathan Allen. You put the two together, and it ain't a better group in the league. It ain't a better tandem in the league than those boys. So Green got worked by those boys. I don't know how many holding penalties Jonathan Allen forced on him. And then Payne said, let me get a piece, man. You over there eating. Let me get some, man. Shit, you hogging. He go over there, beat the man like he stole something and get a sack. I was cussing Payne out, though. I wanted the football. Like, get that shit out of there. You want to take the next step? Force a fumble right there. Mills didn't know you were coming. Get that football out. But yeah, Green struggled today. Big time. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Rob Yu, writes, Lou, finally a comfortable win. Yes. Didn't it feel good to just to relax a little bit, right? He says, need to see more from the offense. Defense can keep us in most games. They have. That's the thing. That's the song I've been singing all season long. Defenses gave us a chance in every game since week 2. I mean, for some of you, that's debatable. I don't think it is debatable. They've given us a chance in every single game this season after week 2. And they gave us a chance in week 1, obviously. And they weren't good in week 1, though. Let's not kid ourselves. Jacksonville had as much to do with that victory as we did. You know, Jacksonville self-destructed, made mistakes like bad teams do. But again, I'm glad it's them and not us. right? Same thing with the Texans. Glad it's them and not us. Every time they got a good play today, a catch and run on third down by Agunlie, the running back. I think it was Agumbawale. And you got a holding penalty. Bring it back. They get a good run from Dameon Pierce, holding penalty. Bring it back. Every time they did anything worth noting, holding penalty. Bring it back. So I love it. Our guys forced that. They made the mistakes. Davis Mills threw 2 picks today. He got sacked 5 times today. They made the mistakes. We didn't. Heinicke was close to getting sacked there. I don't know if y'all saw that play through to Terry on the sidelines. I don't know how that guy didn't hit him and that ball didn't come out, but he got rid of it just as that guy was getting to him. I agree. We need more from the offense. And not more in the sense of needing them to be something that they're not. What we saw from the offense is who we are. I need more from them specifically in the red zone. That's when I need them to be better. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Did the whip just pull over? Hop in, Lou. I don't know. Again, I almost feel guilty, man. I almost feel guilty for trying to get back in. Even though generally I'm the one that is always telling y'all to calm down. It's okay. It's not over. Sky's not falling type of deal. I got out. I feel guilty about getting back in because I feel like a hypocrite. I told y'all what I was going to do. I said the Titans game isn't going to make me get out of the whip. It's if we lose to the Bears in conjunction with losing to the Titans and we're 1-5, that's when I'm getting out. And I allowed my emotions to get the best of me, and I got out after the Titans game. So I kind of feel bad about getting back in. I kind of feel bad about it. But again, if they will allow me, if y'all will allow me back in, I graciously accept the ride, and I'd love to get back in. But I almost feel like I'm not worthy of getting back in. That was on me, So anyway. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, let's keep it in perspective. The offense scored 1 TD against the worst team in football without their best defender. We got to be better in the red zone. Facts. Nothing you said there is incorrect. All right. No lies detected. I'm disappointed with the fact that we didn't score 27, 28, 29, 30 points today because we should have. After we started to get rolling on offense and we started to move the football, we got into the red zone twice. I need one more of those to turn into touchdowns. Okay, fine. One of those drives ends in a field goal. It happens, right? You don't want it to, but it happens. You can't go 1 of 3 in the red zone against the Texans. You got to score another touchdown. Like, my mind wanders sometimes. And at 23-10, my mind began to wander. Like, what if they recover this onside kick, which they almost did, right? Somebody get Percy Butler's ass, or excuse me, somebody get Sip's ass off of the hands team, right? My mind started to wander, and I'm thinking, we shouldn't be here. This shouldn't be a 13-point game, and if they recover this onside kick and they get a quick strike, we're fighting for our life. We shouldn't be here. We dominated this game. We should be up by more. But we weren't. Luckily enough for us, we did recover the onside kick, even though that wasn't as easy as it should have been. And we were able to pretty much run out the clock. They never really saw it again. So, yeah, that's the part that I said, and I started the show by saying we need more from the offense, especially in the red zone. I don't feel any worse about this victory. You're not going to get me to feel bad about, scoring 23 points and beating the Texans handedly 23-10. What I am, looking for more of, because even in victories, you can get better, right? There are things that you can coach up and get better at. There are things that you need to work on. Our red zone offense is one of them. I don't know what day they install and work on red zone offense. They need to work on that more. They need to be more effective and more efficient in the red zone. All right. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Rob, who writes, our 2 starting safeties are legit. Indeed, they are. Curl and Forrest. They're nasty. I love it. Want more of it. And I'm glad we got them. And I'm glad that, got to find out what's good with St. Juice. Make sure he's okay because he's huge for that secondary. He's the best corner we got. And, next week with the Falcons coming to town, you don't need him as much. Really, the next 3 games because the Giants don't really have a dynamic, but you just need him out there, period. But we won't see a dynamic receiver until I think the 49ers are after the Giants the second time, if I'm not mistaken, and then it's the Browns and Cowboys to finish up. We won't see a dynamic receiver until we see the 49ers, but that's nor here nor there. The bye week can't get here fast enough, but we just got to find a way to keep winning as we approach it. I mean, how great would it be to get to the bye week at 8-5? Even if we're 7-6, which would suck, but even if we're 7-6, we're right there, right in the mix. But how great would it be to get to the bye at 8-5? We'd be right in the mix. I mean, you get to the bye at 8-5. I don't know what's going to happen with Dallas. And look, the beauty of it is there's a lot of division games left between Philly and the Giants and Philly and Dallas. We play Dallas again and we play the Giants twice. There's a lot of division games left. What I'm telling you is we're going to beat the hell out of each other. And when you look up, when the dust settles and the smoke clears, maybe the Giants all of a sudden are struggling. All right. Well, maybe they're struggling now and we've overtaken them. We got them twice. Maybe Dallas is struggling and we overtake them. Like, there's a lot of football left to be played. So just got to take care of them one at a time. Those safeties are a big part of the reason why we're taking care of business. All right. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Rob, writes, Desmond King should be here as our nickel and punt returner. That's the guy that I vouched for in the offseason. Same way that I did the offseason before that with the Steelers nickel that went to the Bengals that really helped turn their defense around. There's certain guys that you just look at and you say, okay, he's the kind of player you want on your football team. And the reason why Desmond King made so much sense for me in particular is because he could also double as a punt returner. Not just because, hey, he's a solid nickel corner, but more so because, hey, this dude gives us something that we don't currently have, and that's a real punt returner. So that would have been an opportunity, but, it's gone by the wayside. It is what it is. I don't know if he signed a 1-year deal. A lot of guys sign 1-year deals with the Texans. Don't know if he signed one or not, but if he's available, I'd like to take a crack at him next offseason again. But that's nor here nor there. The Phillies Ace 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, my guy Lou, congrats on the win with y'all beating my Eagles. No excuses here on out. Y'all better beat the Giants and Cowboys. What hurts more, 93 or 22 Braves? I think, well, the 22 Braves doesn't hurt as much because we won it last year. You know what I'm saying? The 93 hurt more because we just started winning. You're 2 years removed from the Sid Bream play at home, played against the Pirates, and making it to the World Series against the Twins. Then you go back and you play the Blue Jays and you don't get it done there. And so 93 was an opportunity to try to get it done. We had fell short 2 years in a row. So losing to the Phillies in 93 and watching y'all go play the Blue Jays, you didn't get it done. And probably because of your closer, but whatever. That hurt probably more. That hurt way more than 22. 22 was whatever. We had already won a World Series. We were hungry in 1993. That one hurt way worse. Way worse. Okay, so I see a lot of y'all telling me Heinicke was emotional in his Fox post game. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Again, I love Heinicke. How can you not root for him, man? Again, he's overcome a lot, you know, to get to where he is right now. It's big. It's big. Big money, Sonny, my guy. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Big money, Sonny. And I got your tweet, or your message. I didn't know what that was about. I know that I saw on the stream, last stream, it was like 120 some odd new members, and you said you gifted them, and I don't even know how that works, but whatever the case may be, thank you for that. Thank you. I really, truly do appreciate you. And all of those that you gifted should be thanking you as well. I didn't know how that happened or what was going on, but now it made sense after you told me. So once again, shout out to my guy, Big Money Sonny, for always holding the kid down and continuing to help the Louie Tee Network and the Mob Squad and all of this grow. Continue to help all of it grow. So really do appreciate you. Big Money Sonny writes, Lou, our defense is straight legit. Yes, it is. They put their balls on the table at the right time while everyone else's have shriveled up. And we talked about the defense, and it's crazy because before the season started, didn't think the defense would be this good. I thought the defense would be way better than they were last year. Because what did I tell you? The schedule that we're playing suggests that they should go back to the 2020 version of the defense and less like the 2021 version. Well, that's part of it, but that's not the whole story. This defense is playing more like a cohesive unit than they did even in 2020. This group is playing at a high level. The defensive line with Jeff Scanina leading it and Ryan Kerrigan as the assistant, they're playing together as one, right? On the back end, you're getting some really quality play from the entire secondary. They're communicating. Remember how big of a problem that was last year, you know, and even in 2020 when we were winning, there were still some communication issues. They're communicating. You're not seeing all of the lapses and the big plays happening. Benjamin St. Juste has stepped up, you know, which is why him being healthy is so big. But this, and then Jamin Davis wearing the green dot, second consecutive week he's worn the green dot. We're getting Cole Holcomb back at some point. It feels like this is the week Cole may actually hit the practice field. We may get Cole Holcomb and Chase Young back in the same game. I mean, we're continuing to get healthy at the right time. You know, it was funny in this game. Cornelius Lucas gave up the pressure early to Jerry Hughes. That first play where Heinicke on that third down where he steps up because Jerry Hughes has immediate pressure, and then, you know, the other guy steps up. I don't know if he got sacked on that play or if he got rid of the football, but barely. As soon as that happened, Sam Cosmi came in. So we're getting healthy at the right time. Cosmi getting back in the lineup. I think on a full-time basis, I think that's going to be a thing, and that's going to actually happen. You're going to get Chase Young back here shortly. You're going to get Cole Holcomb back. Obviously, J.D. McKissick done for the season. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But, yeah, this defense is legit. They're the catalyst. They're what's driving this football team. That's what's going to give us an opportunity every week. The defense may not win us the game. They actually won us the game today, right? But they may not win us the game, but they'll give us a chance. The offense is what's actually going to win us the game. The defense is what's going to give us a chance every week. And so it's up to the offense and special teams to do their part, because the defense, we feel confident week in, week out, they're going to do their part. They're going to carry their weight. The offense and special teams need to make sure that they can say the same about themselves. Khalil Commanders, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, finally, no drama. I had a stroke 10 years ago. I don't have time for another stroke. LOL. It's a great win. Well, I'm glad you're okay. We don't want you having another stroke. This team seems to, really produce stroke. They induce stroke behavior like, performances that really put you, in a very vulnerable position in late in ball games. It's nice for a change not to have to do that, right? And that's all I asked for this week. Play a clean game. Oh my God, we did it. Almost didn't do it on the first possession, just like last week. But somehow we played a clean game. You know, I hate the fact that Jack Del Rio says this shit every year, but he's right this year. Turnovers come in bunches. I'm not worried about them. They've started to come in bunches, 2 more of them today. And, you know, we did the things that we needed to do, you know, to keep this game at bay. They never were within 1 score. So we never were sweating in the second half. Kevin the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, was Rappaport tripping this morning? Early super chats are in. All right, I will check in the comment section. All right, so Kevin the PRF got me my super chat, so I'm going to go ahead and knock these out real quick. Thank you for that, Kevin the PRF, who writes, so shout out to Kevin the PRF for getting me the early supers. Going to go ahead and knock them out real quick. Chauncey Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, OG, triple OG, Chauncey. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, Scott Turner has to trust Cam Sims in the red zone. Scott Turner needs to trust all of our big targets in the red zone. I want to see more back shoulder fades, more, you know, opportunities for big guys to go up and climb the ladder. We got too many big trees for us to continue to try to find ways to creatively, you know, schematically get guys open. Hey, you know what the easiest play in football is? Just throw it to a big guy. See if he can make a play. We got 3 of them. Cole Turner, Logan Thomas, Cam Sims. Use them. Pick one, isolate them, use them. Why does this have to be rocket science? You get down there, you want to throw the football, fine. Use one of your big targets, big body guys, and try and see if they can't go make a play. I don't disagree with you, man. I don't disagree with you at all. Your mom's favorite player. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Your mom's favorite player. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Sam Howell going to have a tub in the 4th quarter. I wish we would have gotten to the point where he could have gotten some run today. My wife asked me, is Sam going to get in the game? I said, no, babe. He's not getting in this game. We're not scoring too many more points. We've already hit 23. We may get one more field goal, but we're done. So he's not going to get in the game. Kenny Payton, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. So glad to have you on board. Mob, y'all know what to do. Show Kenny Payton some love. Welcome him to the MOBB. So glad to have you on board. This is the perfect time, man. We playing great football. It's only up from here. Kenny, welcome to the squad. Glad to have you. Harvey Mills, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Harvey writes, salutations, Lou. Good win. Thank you, Harvey. Likewise. But against the Titans, we should have had like 60 points. I guess Scott's idea of offensive personality is to have none whatsoever. I guess you mean the Texans. We should have scored more points. That's definitely, I think we can all agree on that. Whether you thought this was, as someone put it earlier, an ugly win, or as I put it, a solid win, you're disappointed, whatever the case may be. We should have scored more points, however you feel about the victory. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the defense dominated and the offense did what it needed to do to put enough distance between us and the Texans to win this game comfortably. So I think Scott struggles with doing what's right versus doing what he wants to do. The right thing in 3rd and 1, certain situations, again, it's one thing if we're struggling and they're just shutting our run game down. Then I get it. No need to keep running, and hitting your head up against a brick wall. But we were getting a yard, okay? They had their times where they were penetrating him, but we were getting a yard. On 3rd and 1, run the football. Curtis Samuel scored a touchdown, our only touchdown of the game offensively, on a run. So why not continue to be creative and score on the ground in the red zone? Anyway, Jay Hunter Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Brother Lou, you got to hit your Sly Guy song one time, just one time. He's a Sly Guy, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. Sly Guy, Sly Guy. He's a slugger. Joey Slizzy. Strider, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Strider writes, TCU quarterback Max Duggan to Washington next year. Need a QB1. I haven't watched a lot of Max Duggan. I've watched him sparingly, but even the games I've watched, he wasn't playing. He was banged up. They've had backup quarterbacks get it done. I'm always wary of any quarterback that goes to K-State because they've got a specific type of offense that they run. It's very run heavy and run dominant. I know they've got, if I'm not mistaken, they've got a dominant running back in that backfield too. So I don't trust any TCU quarterback, but I'll check him out. I'll check out Max Duggan. I've heard a lot of him. I know he at one point was in the Heisman discussion. He's not going to win it, but just the fact that he's even in the discussion is something to look for. So I'll check him out. I've seen him a little bit, but not enough to really be able to have a true opinion on him. Lance Eubank, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Lance, who writes, I love the defense today, but the turtle in its shell offense won't beat good teams. Nice seeing Logan show out. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. You know, I wasn't the biggest fan of your other comment about this offense isn't sustainable. I think you meant, you know, scoring 23 points when you could have had 30 isn't sustainable in terms of beating teams. That's true. You know, when you play better teams, you're going to have to score more points. But I do think the turtle in its shell offense, where you're just not looking to make a mistake, you know, not converting in the red zone, that's going to get you beat. You know, you get opportunities to score touchdowns. I've always told you guys there are two stats that you can go to that will show you who won a game, who lost a game. And those two stats are the turnover battle and red zone efficiency. Generally, those two stats tell you all you need to know. We were not efficient in the red zone, but we didn't turn it over today. They did, and that was a huge difference in the game. Logan showing out is a great sign, and I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this game is seeing Logan Thomas do what he did. If we can get Logan playing like that, it's really going to help this offense tremendously. Commander Optimistic 6-5. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, we got the dub. That boy Green was fighting for his life against Allen, and poor Bostic almost blew a tire chasing Cooks. LOL. He damn sure did. Just like last week when he was chasing Miles Sanders. I was like, hey John, don't blow a tire over there, man. He was humping. He was going as fast as he could, trying to chase Cooks. Cooks was just gliding past him. Right. Green, boy, he had his hands full today. I'd be lying if I said I felt bad for him, but boy, he got work today. I mean, that's one of those lessons that he should never forget. He may ultimately go on to play a long 14-year career, but he'll never forget the day he faced Allen in pain and got worked over by the Washington Commanders interior. He'll either grow from that or he'll continue to struggle, and that'll be one of the games you look at and say, hey, he just isn't capable of being a starter consistently in this league. I think he'll be fine. Lance Eubank, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Lance writes, F the Jeff Saturdays. They had their opportunities. You really should be saying F their field goal kicker, Chase McLaughlin, because if he makes that kick from 49 yards out, I think it was from 50 yards out, they're going to win the game probably. You know, he missed that kick. It changed the momentum of that game. They were up 13-3. He makes that kick. It goes from, or actually it was 16-3, I think at the time. He makes that kick. It's then, no, it was 13-3. He makes that kick and it goes from 13-16, and it forces them to then have to score 2 touchdowns instead of 1. And the second touchdown won't get you beat because they ultimately added another field goal later in the game. But if they would have added that field goal later in the game, it would have made it 19 and not 16. So, and they playing hard for Jeff Saturday, man. All right, so the rest of these I have already gotten to. So thank you for that, Kevin, the PRF. All right. Will Morris, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Will Morris, writes, don't look now, but we're the Khabib. look, I don't watch UFC. I know this is a UFC fighter. We're going to call him KN of the NFL. LOL. We don't even care about points. Just smothering these cats. We don't know who we are. We know who we are. And he says, we know who we are now. I don't know why I couldn't get that. We know who we are now, and we could be dangerous. I think we're still figuring that out, especially on the offensive side of football. I think they know what they have to do, but I think they're still like Logan, coming to the forefront is a big deal. So that could add in some wrinkles to the offense. They still have to get Jahan more involved. They tried that by giving him a carry today. They got a lot of, different weapons. They're still trying to figure out how to utilize all of them. So I still think that that's a work in progress. But as far as who we are and what we're looking to establish, we have to run the football. That's not a secret. And Scott, give him credit. On a short week, he found creative ways to run the football. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Metaphor writes, what I call 23-13, 1 defensive touchdown, 1 TD run, 3 field goals. If you call that, you damn near hit it on the head, and you're a soothsayer, because I would never have predicted a defensive touchdown because we don't get those. One rushing touchdown, I could see that, and I could see 3 field goals. I think I predicted, 3 or 4 field goals. I think 4 because I had 26, so I had us getting 4 field goals. So I mean, you hit it on the head, except for they had 10 and not 13. But damn, that's close, man. That's some good stuff right there. Jason Rogers, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I'm sick and tired of 91. Hey, y'all lay off of Ridgeway, man. That was a dumb play. I'm not going to sit here and try to defend him. He's a damn good football player. We need those on the team. Like, you guys can't have it both ways. A lot of you get sick and tired of us having Boy Scouts and guys that aren't rough around the edges when we're getting the ball mashed down our throats and shit isn't going well. You want to complain then, oh, we got all these Boy Scouts and this, that. Now we got one that's a little rough around the edges and you're ready to run him. You can't have it both ways. John Ridgeway is fine. I love what he brings to the table. Yes, we have to curtail some of the bonehead plays and mistakes, but I like the edge that he plays with. He plays with the level of physicality that you need inside. He's nasty. He's physical. Give me John Ridgeway every day, and I'll try to scale him back a bit. But again, as a wise man once said, I much rather deal with a wild and crazy man than have to bring to life a corpse. All right. He's a wild and crazy man. I much rather have to get him to calm down than to have to try to get one of these limp body guys inside to try to bring them to life to help us. Heavy K, Commander fan. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Heavy K, who writes, the receiver went from the left to the right, came across Bostic's face, so he had to take him. With Bostic cement shoes, he got cooked. Please get Hudson in. They're not going to put Khaleke Hudson in. And you guys have to know that by now. It's never going to be Khaleke Hudson in there. It's either going to be Bostic, it's either going to be David Mayo, or it's going to be Cole Holcomb. Those are your 3 choices. All right. Pick one and move on. Well, 2 of those choices are hurt. So it's no choice but Bostic. And look, it is what it is. He's not coming out of the lineup until you get Mayo back and or Cole Holcomb back. So that is what it is. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Edward, who writes, nice to take care of business. We beat a team we were supposed to beat. No heart attacks. Feels good. Somebody said to me that the video on Friday should have been titled Taking Care of Business. And, that wasn't a bad title, except I'm not used to us taking care of business. I needed to see it for myself to believe it. And I do believe that this team is capable of taking care of business against teams that they're supposed to. And next week isn't a team that you're supposed to beat, but it's a team that I think we're better than. But they pose a different set of challenges than any team we've played this season because they run essentially a college offense. Marcus Mariota is a huge part of the run game. A lot of read option, a lot of read in the defensive end. it's good practice for Daniel Jones. I don't know if they're running read option as much with him now as they did in the past with other coaches. He's standing in the pocket more so than he used to. But we're going to get a heavy dose of the run, a heavy dose of read option, a heavy dose of RPOs next week. And I hope we're ready, because Marcus Mariota is going to put pressure on our defense, and we got to be able to keep that contained and keep the perimeter tight, or he'll turn the corner on us and make us look foolish. So we took care of business against a team we're supposed to beat, and that definitely feels good. Red Wing 01, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, is Cordero Patterson getting into the GOAT return specialist conversation? If we're talking about pure kick returners, he's already the best. I think so. I mean, he's got the most kickoff returns in NFL history for touchdowns. He got his 9th today. He was tied with Devin Hester, so he sets that record. Devin Hester's going to the Hall of Fame if he hasn't already gone to the Hall of Fame. So what does that mean for Cordero Patterson? If we feel like Devin Hester's the best to ever do now, remember, Devin Hester was also a punt returner too. That's what separates Devin Hester. He's a punt and a kickoff return man, and dangerous at both, equally dangerous at both, whereas Cordero Patterson's just a kickoff return man, but he's the best we've ever seen. I don't know if that's good enough to get him into the Hall of Fame or not, but his career is far from over. If he gets 2 more of those, how can you keep him out? Like, nobody will ever catch him if he gets to like 11 or 12. So he's definitely GOAT status. Like, he's got 9 of them. The dude is dynamic. Like, why would you even kick? Like, next week, I need Sly to do exactly what he did today. He kicked that bitch out of the end zone every single time. It's easier to do that in a controlled environment in a dome like in Houston at NRG Stadium. Outside, where you're dealing with the elements and some wind, it may be harder to do that. I need him to kick the shit out of it. I don't even need Cordero Patterson touching it as a return man next week. Dude is stupid dangerous. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, Lou, you know I'm always looking at the big picture. After that pick 6, I settled down and enjoyed my Sunday morning West Coast here. Stand up. Hey, look, man, y'all know what it is. I said the same thing. That pick 6 calmed me down because I did not like the start of this game. I did not like the start that we got off to. It was rough around the edges offensively. We did not win the toss. I'm always more comfortable when we get the ball after halftime. Well, we didn't win the toss. We received first, and then we went out and went 3 and out in an ugly fashion. And so I was a little bit like, okay, this is not the start that I was looking for, but I'm not worried. But I am, a little bit, uneasy. Concerned isn't the right word because I wasn't concerned yet, but I didn't like the start to the game. And then you get to pick 6, and it's like, okay, calm down, bro. You're good. Y'all got this. So that definitely helped a hell of a lot for sure. B-Ball God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. B-Ball God writes, if you watch the Washington War Room video, you could hear Marty suggest that we should draft Kenyon Green. Should we be concerned, Lou? He was awful today, LOL. I haven't watched that video, the War Room video, but that was one of the options available at, I believe we were at 11 at the time before we traded out of the pick, because I think the Texans ended up taking him at 13 or something like that. I think they were drafting again at like 13. He ended up going off the board. So he probably was one of the guys that they had. Remember, you move on from Brandon Sheriff. You have some interior offensive line issues. I wasn't the biggest Green fan coming out of Texas A&M, but it's early, like this is his first year in the league. I don't know what he's been doing all season long. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've been watching every single rep he's taken. He struggled today. He might have been doing excellent for them all season long, and today he just got his ass kicked. He might have been struggling all season. Andrew Thomas struggled in his first year for the Giants. Hell, his first 2 years for the Giants. Now he's the best offensive lineman on their team, and he's one of the better offensive tackles in football. Like, it takes time, guys. Look, I don't know if that's an indictment on Marty Herney or what, that he wanted to take this guy. This guy might turn out to be an all-pro, guard and one of the best in football. Who's to say? Maybe he's not being coached properly, and if you would have given him to our offensive line coach, John Matsko, maybe he would have turned into a dominant offensive interior lineman. You can't just look at a guy and say, oh my God, we wanted him. God, I'm glad we didn't get him. Is that a concern? Because you don't know. He could be poorly coached in Houston for all we know. So look at the difference on our defensive line. Look at the difference coaching made on our defensive line. Like, you can't just do that. Logan Lodo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, them Texan colored Jordans going to look nice on Heinicke's feet, LOL. I wonder what number he's going to get this week. I mean, there are going to be some options to choose from. Although I can't think of too many, dark navy blue with a splash of red colorways, but I'm pretty sure almost every colorway of birds exists. So he'll be able to find something. It'll be interesting to see what he puts out on socials this week. Will Morales, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Will, writes, I am grateful we are in the hunt, playing meaningful games during the holidays. They came out and got the job done. Love the fight in this young team. These boys are growing week by week. Future looks bright. Or fire. I couldn't agree with you more. I love the fact that this is a young team. The only thing that we're really missing is a young quarterback that would be growing with this team. That'd be ideal. If you had a young quarterback that was playing, helping his team win, and growing with this team. Because, again, even if you get a young quarterback next year, he's going to have to come into a team that feels like they're ready to win now, and we're going to have to deal with his mistakes. So it is what it is, but I just like that this young nucleus of players, again, you know how I wanted to build this team. We're building this team the way that I wanted us to build it, which is build the infrastructure, insulate the quarterback position, and then when you find that guy, you drop him in the middle. That's what we're doing. We still haven't found that guy yet, and I don't know if it's going to happen via the draft or free agency, but you just keep building until you find that guy. That's what we're doing, and it's fun to watch. Zachary Minor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Zachary writes, shouldn't we be getting back Castro Fields next week, and when Holcomb gets back, the defense could be legit? But Chase, I don't know if we're getting him back or not. Yeah, he was placed on IR, and I'm pretty sure that clock should be expiring here shortly if it hasn't already. But I mean, it's not like he's a huge part of this team, Castro Fields. So I don't really know what to make of that, because he was just a core special teamer when we got him. He wasn't getting any reps in the game or anything like that. So obviously, if anything happens to Juice, you're further testing the depth of a position that already lacks depth as is. I think they would probably more so go to a veteran. I don't know if Corn Elder is on the practice squad or not, but that's the type of guy I think they would, go and retrieve. Or maybe Rashad Wildgoose comes back up again as Danny Johnson. As we saw, Danny Johnson was the guy that they inserted into the game today. So we'll see what they decide to do. But clearly, cornerback, if Juice is compromised, is going to be a big, big issue moving forward. All right. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, Ridgeway jersey incoming. And when you say it, I believe you. You'll be telling me, next week or the week after, hey, finally got that 91 jersey in. So I believe you when you say it, man. I definitely believe you. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor, writes, newsflash, don't super until Lou starts live. I mean, some people want to get theirs in early. The good thing is I got Condo P, I got Kevin, the PRF, on the case. They're going to make sure I don't miss anything. But I apologize. I should have been a little bit earlier today. But did you see the end of that Jets-Patriots game? I couldn't take my eyes off the screen because you had the end of that game. You had the ending of the Eagles game. And then the Panthers and Ravens. The Ravens were struggling with the Panthers. They finally put them away. So I was just cleaning up all the loose ends of the 1 o'clock hour, and that Patriots game was just crazy with the punt return with 8 seconds left to win the game. Are you kidding me? So that's part of the reason why I got here a little bit later than I probably should have. But to his point, I'm going to get to your supers regardless, but it's makes a lot more sense if you wait. But I don't mind you super chatting. Whenever the spirit hits you to super chat, by all means, go right ahead. Commando, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Commando writes, can we get an aggressive yum, yum, eat 'em up? Yum, yum, eat 'em up. Yum, yum, eat 'em up. You know what it is. We didn't get a fumble today. So you get yum, yum, eat 'em ups because you got to go in the cookie jar, reach in there and pull out a cookie, right? But we did get 2 picks, and that pick 6 was delicioso. Yeah. So I'll take those all day, every day. Give me one of those pick 6 things. I love residential calls. Okay. Anytime you make a call to the residents, sign me up for those. All right. Sign me up for those. Timothy Teeler, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Timothy Teeler writes, can we please ban Dax from return? Please. He wasn't even that bad today. Again, some of y'all find an axe and you continue to grind it. Dax early in the season was terrible. He's actually gotten better. Look, I'm not telling you, he is what he is. He didn't ask to be the punt returner. He was thrusted into that position. It helped him make the roster. He's making the most of that situation. He's doing the best he can. He is not a natural punt returner. He should not be back there, but he is. But can you just acknowledge the fact that he's gotten better and he doesn't drop the ball? Like, what more do you want? There are guys that are dropping and fumbling the ball every single week. Knock on a little bit of wood. We keep that away from us. And he's doing everything right, and you guys still aren't happy. I don't understand. He'll never be, just like Taylor Heinicke will never be an elite quarterback and really a starter in this league. Dax Milne will never be an elite punt returner, but all I ask him to do is do his job, and that's what he does every week. I don't share the same disdain for Dax returning punts as you do. And you're not alone. Okay, Timothy, you're not alone. There are a lot of people that feel exactly the same way that you do. I just don't. Swagger Dagger, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Swagger Dagger writes, don't mean to talk college, but I'm a Buckeye fan, and I love Stroud, but he has 0 dog in him. We will definitely find out next weekend, though. I'm not a CJ Stroud guy. I'm not. That doesn't mean the kid isn't super talented. Doesn't mean that he's not capable of. We said the same thing about Justin Herbert. How's that working out for him in the NFL? Okay. We said the same thing. He's too mild-mannered. He's not a leader, not boisterous enough, not a leader of men. Okay. See what Justin Herbert's doing in the NFL. CJ Stroud could be the exact same type of player. He's got the same kind of measurable size, arm talent, athleticism, all that good stuff. But I'm not a CJ Stroud fan. But doesn't mean he can't be elite in the NFL. That's for damn sure. We'll see. You're right. Big game against Michigan coming up this weekend. You're at the Horseshoe. Let's see what he's made of. You're going to be tested this upcoming week. I love when both teams are good. That Thanksgiving game, that Friday after Thanksgiving, that Black Friday, that's a beautiful game. Or is it Saturday that game's played on? Might be Saturday. It's just a lot of football. This is the best time of the year, man. Al Butts, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, disappointed B-Rob didn't have a better day, but proud we took care of business in an obvious letdown spot, especially having to travel on a short week. A lot of truths there. I wasn't disappointed in B-Rob today. Thought he had a really good day considering that, on a lot of his runs, there were guys already in the backfield or meeting him at the line of scrimmage, and he had to create. There were a couple of runs that, he was able to break into the secondary and get to the second level, but those were few and far between. For the most part, he had to earn everything that he got. Some tough runs, especially that 3rd and 2, where he somehow, some way managed to make a guy miss, first of all, then drag a guy and get the first down. I thought he was really good today for what we asked him to do. Benjamin Slade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, please sign Payne. I don't think there's any way he gets out of here, whether they got to franchise tag him or he gets a long-term deal done, I can assure you of this. He'll be here next year. I can't guarantee you he'll be here on a long-term deal next year, but he'll be playing for the Washington Commanders next season. There's no way they allowed Daron Payne to walk out of this building. None. Zero chance that happens. Let's see. Got another super chat. This one is from Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, I'm sipping my whiskey, Lou. It's time to turn up. That sounds so good right now. I told my wife, I cannot wait. I'm just 4 days away from getting my first taste of an adult beverage. I haven't had one since September. I go on my fasting. My lips did not touch a sip in October and haven't touched any in November. I just want to sip. So that sounds real good right about now. Just take a sip for me. All right. Just take a sip for me. I'm coming though. 4 days away. Cannot wait. But feels good. Feels good. Feels good. Indeed. And we're not playing on Thanksgiving. So I get to enjoy my food and watch two NFC East family members beat the hell out of each other. What more can you ask for? John Livingston, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JL Smooth. Greatly appreciate you as always. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, 105.3. JL Smooth writes, what up, Lou? What's up, JL Smooth? Hey, I appreciate the love too, man. Really appreciate you. He writes, been a minute. It has. And I didn't know if it corresponded with your bills struggling or if you just got busy, life happens, all that. Yeah, I always knew you'd be back because you're my guy. He says, this storm was nuts. Where I live, we got 5 feet of snow plus. That's insane, bro. I've never seen more than 2 feet of snow at one time in my life. I can't, and that was a lot. I mean, snow was everywhere and it didn't go away for like 2.5 months. And to think that you got 3 times as much as that, essentially, I couldn't even fathom that. My brain can't even comprehend 6, not inches, feet of snow looks like. Just glad we got back in the win column. Feels good. After the past 3 days, went 2 days without food, then got stuck at work for 32 hours. Unreal. Did you guys lose power? I know it's a little different for places that are used to getting snow. Like if we got that kind of snow in these parts, all hell would break loose. People would ravage the stores. Like the threat of snow scares people to go and buy up all the water, bread, all the, stuff that you get when you think there's a natural disaster coming your way. If we got the threat of a foot of snow, that's what people would do. I can't even imagine what we would do around here with 5-6 feet of snow. And, power would be out here. We would probably be without power. I remember we got like 4 inches of snow and we didn't have power around here last year. We were all bundled up in one room trying to keep the heat with candles, burning. So I can't even imagine what 6 feet of snow does to, power lines and all of that good stuff. And the fact that you said you got stuck at work, you went to work, like everything's shut down around here. It's a national emergency if we get that on the East Coast here. Like, I know you're on the East Coast, but like here in the DMV area, it's an emergency. Right? That's crazy. I'm just glad you're okay. Your Bills are back. And I was talking to another Bills fan. We talk all the time. And I said, y'all got 2 games straight at 4 feet. If I were y'all, I wouldn't even come back home. With all the ish going on, I would just stay in Detroit. It's a quick turnaround. You're playing on Thursday anyway. I don't know if that's y'all plan or not. I would just stay in Detroit because you're playing there again. I think that's why the NFL scheduled the game in Detroit, because you guys they don't want y'all having to fly back and forth multiple times. I'm glad they got there safe, because I was thinking, should they be flying? Is it even safe for them to fly out of Buffalo to Detroit? I mean, you started off slow in that game. It was 10-0 if I'm not mistaken, but then you guys got on your horse. You played the kind of football that you needed to, and you got yourself a win, a much needed win. I think last time I saw it, it was 28-16. I don't know if that ended up being the final score or not, but I was the Bills fan that I was talking to. I said, hey, y'all need these next 2. Y'all need to get y'all shit together, because you got New England on a Thursday night, next week, not this upcoming week, because you got the Lions this week, and they're playing good football. So that's no gimme. All of a sudden, winners of 3 straight, playing with a ton of confidence, go to the Meadowlands, destroy the Giants. They're playing with an abundance of confidence. So if you come out here slipping and tripping and Josh Allen is turning it over, you can get your ass beat on Thursday. Whereas this looked like a layup a month ago. All of a sudden now, this is a real damn game. And if you start slow like you did against Cleveland, you could be in some trouble. So hopefully you got out of your rut. You played better in the second half of this game. Hopefully that carries over into next week's game, because that's going to be a big one for y'all, for sure. I'm just glad to know that you're okay, JL Smooth, because that shit is no joke. Snow is fun. It looks cute. It's nice when it's untouched. That shit is not okay. Snow is dangerous when in the amounts that you guys got dumped on you. That shit is dangerous. Heavy K, Commander fan. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Heavy K writes, Aubrey Miller, linebacker, Jackson State. What do you think? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't pick him out of a photo lineup. Again, once we get to the offseason, I'll be able to talk to you about guys. I don't know if I'll be able to talk to you about Aubrey Miller from Jackson State. I don't know if my studies will take me that far, but if he's a top-tier linebacker in this year's upcoming draft, I'll find him. But, you know, you got to talk to a real draft guru that studies the draft 365 days of the year. He'll be able to tell you about Aubrey Miller. I can't tell you about him, especially while the season's going on. I might be able to tell you about Aubrey Miller in March or April, but definitely not in November. Let's see. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, you already know what Joe Rockhead J is blasting. Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all own me. Salutes to the OG for always keeping it real. Can we all agree on something? I shouldn't speak for y'all, but I'm gonna say this. Who didn't want Gibby to run in for that touchdown at 23-10 when he got the edge and could have easily walked into the end zone? I'm guilty. I wanted the stats. Like, the Texans aren't scoring 3 touchdowns in the matter of a minute and 10 seconds. I wanted him to run in the end zone so we could get the 30 spot and make this game look like how it really was played out, instead of it looking like, oh, the Texans hung in there. No, they didn't. They got their asses whooped. I wanted the 30 spot, but he did the right thing. First of all, he should have got the first down. Like, we should not have had to run it again to get the first down. He slid too early, but he did the right thing. Anyway, I wanted the 30 spot. Grande Groove, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, O-line, linebacker, cornerback in the draft. In no particular order, we need all 3 of those things. Absolutely. And I think we'll get all 3 of them in the draft. Don't know what order they'll come. And, obviously quarterback is something else that you could put on that list. Again, don't know if we're going to get one of those in the draft or not. But those 3 for sure. I'll put money on it right now that if I were a betting man, we'll come away with at least one of each of those in the next draft. Lance Eubank, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Lance writes, everyone, please join my church, the Church of Heinicke and Turner. We will transform you into a believer. You will never be disappointed. Drink up. I don't know how many members you're going to get of that church, man. You're going to have to pass out flyers at every event. You got to be outside of the Walmarts and all the local stores in your neighborhood and pass out flyers, and maybe you'll get 1 or 2 extra members. But I don't think you're going to get a lot of people to join that church. There's going to be some supporters out there for Heinicke, though. You may get some to join just off the strength of Heinicke, but I don't know if you'll get a lot of people joining that congregation or not. But I won't knock the hustle, man. Good luck with that. Good luck with it. Wilfredo Elias, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Wilfredo writes, Com just tweeted out a quote by Jay Allen and basically confirmed the team wants Heinicke. He's got his limitations, but these guys love him. Feel bad for Wentz, but we need to keep stacking dubs. Look, did you saw the way Jonathan Allen looked at him after the first win? I think it was against Green Bay when he grabbed him by the face and was staring at him like he wanted to, passionately kiss him in the mouth. Like, they love Taylor Heinicke, man. They love this dude. Again, how can you not? I mean, the odds were stacked against him. He's just a dude. He's a regular dude. And no disrespect to Wentz. He just got here, though. Heinicke's been a part of the crew for a minute. And like we've been talking about, in this league, the most important stat is winning. These players don't care how it looks. Oh, a lot of you were bent out of shape when we beat the Bears 12-7. You think those players gave a shit? Hell no. They just were happy that we won. They just wanted to win. And at the end of the day, Heinicke wins, and he got it done again this week, and he continues to get it done. And those players, they'll run through a wall for him because they know when Ford's out there, he's going to give them a chance. It's not always going to be pretty, but he's going to give them a chance. So I'm not shocked that there's a lot of support for him. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Jay would have won 38-10. Hashtag fire Ron. I've seen enough. Yeah, right. How many times did we win under Jay Gruden in blowout fashion? Yeah, right. We had some games now under Jay. Don't get it twisted, but yeah, right. 38-10. Yeah. Again, you're trolling. I'm gonna chalk that up too. Pooping for Noopin. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. My guy, Pooping for Noopin, writes, if you are just trying to have a baby, missionary is all you need. You're not. Again, you can have any position to get you pregnant. Okay. You guys are focusing in on the wrong thing. Okay. Nothing wrong with missionary. It's a great position for some, not as great for others, right? But it's the most basic form. Okay. So all I was saying is, for some, that's boring. They don't want to do that. All right. That's fine by me. I'm fine with basic. I just want to win. Okay. Just like I want to get some. I don't care if it's in the most basic form. I just want some. I just want to win. It's the same premise. That's what I'm trying to convey. Okay. That's it. Thank you for the super chat. Pooping for Noopin. All right. Got another super chat. This one is from the great Watubi. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. The great Watubi writes, I did not like they went 4-4 on fourth downs. I didn't either. And if you were, I'm petty. I wanted them to not score a touchdown in this game. And I knew we weren't going to get the shutout. There was a slight chance when they went for it on the first fourth down and converted that, Davis Mills is a clown. So I was like, he might fumble. And Sweat got to him and tried to knock it out, and he was able to hold on to it on that last sack when they took the field goal. There was a chance he could turn it over. So I was like, hey, there may be a chance they don't get anything on this possession. They may go for it on fourth down and not convert. But they got the field goal. I said, okay, that's fine. I'll take a 23-3. I'll take a 26-3. That's total domination. They didn't score a touchdown. But I didn't want them to get the touchdown, and they did. And they went 3 of 3 on fourth down on that drive to get in the end zone. The one that bothered me the most, two of them bothered me. The one where he scrambles and John Bostic is standing there as a spectator watching, that's dumb. But the Kendall Fuller one where he's off like 7 yards, like he's defending 30 yards of space, bro. It's 4th and 4. Why are you playing? Like, he caught that thing 3 yards past the sticks, and Kendall Fuller still wasn't in the screen after he caught it. Like, what are we doing? It's 4th and 4. Why are you playing so far back? They're 12 yards away from the end zone. Where's the psychological sense in that? I didn't like that either. Like to see us be better than that. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, after Pierce went to Suplex City, Mans was quiet. I mean, he was quiet before that. I don't know if I saw him again. He got up slow. I don't know if he came back in the game after that. I saw a lot of Rex Burkhead after that. So I hope he's all right, because you never want to see anybody get hurt, but he'll be fine. I don't know how much John Ridgeway is making, but they're going to reach in his pockets and they're going to touch him up a little bit. He'll have a nice manila envelope on Wednesday in his locker. That's for sure. He won't get away with that. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Legend has it 91 yell. This is for JD. Woo or whoa. I don't know which is which. I'm a whoa guy, so that's a whoa. That was nasty. It was that was definitely nasty. Big Money Sunny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sunny writes. Condo's kids been eating well the last 3 weeks. No more Celeste pizza. That might be the worst form of pizza, right? Is the Celestes. I don't know if there's anybody lower on the rung than Celestes. There may be one or two other options. I've been there before where Celestes is all you can afford. So I won't shit on anybody that has to do that. But that's one of the lowest rungs you can get to, man. Man. That's funny. All right. Got another super chat. This one here is from my guy, Big Money Sunny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, just got back from the store, Lou, and saw Alex on a milk carton. Look, leave him alone. Okay. leave Alex alone. Y'all probably scared him away. Obviously, them losing to us. He doesn't want the smoke right now. Y'all were calling for him. So it's not even safe for him to come back yet. He might be watching these videos after the fact saying it's not safe yet. So if you want him to come back, y'all got to leave him alone. Okay. Either way, shout out to my guy, Alex. If you're out there watching anonymously or after this is over and you check it out, well, what's up, man? You still my guy. You know that. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Edward White, writes, Lou, I get in and out every other week. Hop in, my man. It's okay for y'all to do that. But for me, I was sitting in the front seat. It's different when you sitting in the front seat. There's a responsibility that you, even though you may not want it, which I do, I don't mind having it. There's a responsibility that you take on when you sit in the front seat. And I feel like I failed Ron. I failed some of y'all by getting out of the whip. So while some of y'all are like, hey, just get back in. I get out all the time. It's different when you're sitting in the front seat. I was controlling the radio. You know, at one point, Ron was asleep. I was driving the car. So it's different when you're in the front seat, man. But again, if everybody will have me back in, including Ron and company, will have me back in the whip, I would gladly take a ride for sure. But I feel bad. I do. I truly do. Got another super chat here from Reborn Soul Vibes. Oh my gosh, Reby. Girl, where you been at? Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, just because I'm still here, Lou. Congratulations on last week's win. Miss chopping it up with you. All love, family. Well, I follow you on socials. I see you go live all the time on IG. I see you doing your thing. I love it. I love where you are and your journey. It's been so much fun watching the transformation take place. But it's so good to hear from you anyway. So keep doing your thing. Love you, girl. Good to hear from you. And thank you. Thank you for the kind words. And y'all got it done again today. It wasn't pretty, but that's what happens when you go to Indy. We had the same thing. The exact same thing happened to us. Y'all got it done, though. Good to hear from you once again, though. Don't be a stranger. Big Money Sunny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sunny writes, luck is really Nick Cannon. We have proof now. Be careful, though, Lou. Some of these gifted memberships might have went to Luck's burners. Hey, I wouldn't be shocked if they did. I mean, Luck is a slippery dude, man. I mean, that guy is a chameleon. Y'all always make fun of me for being shook, but it's not. I don't see it as being shook. I just see it as being cautious, okay? Luck, you can never tell when it's Luck, you know. anything that even sounds remotely iffy, I'm going to just chalk it up to luck. And it might not even be him. He might not even be in the comment section. I don't care. It's luck. You're going to have to prove it to me. Well, I need some ID if it's really you. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. I digress. Luck's my guy. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, the color blue gives me my heart murmurs, Lou. Shout out to all the new viewers and mob members. Join that Discord, y'all. Y'all heard him. Condo P always putting the links in the comment section for y'all to follow if y'all want to become members of the Discord and the Cherry Squad, or you want to become a member of the MOBB. Y'all know how to do it. And Condo P gonna help, show you if you need any help. So thank you for that public service announcement. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. All right. So JB Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JB Johnson writes, get an elite QB or a different coordinator for Heinicke. Don't waste the chance to become an elite team with this defense. Don't waste this defense. I mean, I almost don't know how to respond to that, because Heinicke is comfortable because of the coordinator. You give a different coordinator, Taylor Heinicke, he might be like, what is this? I can't get jiggy with this shit. But because it's Scott Turner, that's his boy. Heinicke knows his offense. And so, it works. So I don't know if getting a different coordinator necessarily helps Heinicke. If you get a different coordinator, you probably need to get a different quarterback too. Let that coordinator be a part of the discussion as to what quarterback comes here next. But obviously that's not happening. They're not getting rid of Scott Turner, and Scott Turner's not getting a job. So he's going to be here. So the question then becomes, what quarterback is available, whether via the draft or free agency, that fits his offense that you feel comfortable with, But to your point, you don't want to waste what we're building defensively. And hell, we got a lot of shit on offense too. Don't waste that as well. Don't waste that as well. It's a lot of good stuff that we got going on right now. Don't want to waste any of it. Chauncey Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. OG, triple OG, double up, thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Lou, Chauncey, find red zone plays for Cam Sims. Damn shame. I don't disagree with you. I've talked about the size that we have. This is why you drafted Cole Turner. You talked all offseason about the 10 or 11 touchdowns that he had that led the nation, and how much of a red zone target he can be at his size. We know Logan Thomas is a red zone option. Cam Sims showed the ability to go up and put his nutsack on a helmet when he did it to Trayvon Diggs last year. I don't understand why these guys aren't getting more opportunities in the red zone. Again, that's on the coordinator. Talk to him. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me at all. All right. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP, writes, late to the party, but good to see us avoid a letdown. Defense came alive again, and Chase Young could finally be back next week. I just want to guard against you guys making a big deal of Chase Young being back in the lineup. Clearly, he is not 100%. He's not himself yet. I don't think he'll be that until next year. So I don't want to make too much of Chase coming back. Just his presence on the field, it helps, but I don't know what percentage he's going to be playing at when he does come back. He's not moving at the speed that he normally moves at. He's not going to be himself right out of the gate. So I need y'all to understand that Chase Young being back may not be anything other than a name at this current moment. And you may not really reap the benefits of him being back until 3-4 games in, or even next year. So just understand that. But we all want to see him, because he can't get better and get back to himself unless he plays. So he's got to get back in the game at some point, and hopefully it's next week. It'll be sooner rather than later, that's for sure. But they've already made it abundantly clear they're going to play him when he's ready, and that may not even be next week. He'll be activated, but that doesn't mean he'll play next week necessarily. So we'll see. But it's good that we, like you said, we avoided the letdown. The defense came alive and did what they needed to do to ensure that this game wasn't close. So I appreciate the defense for that as well. Let's see. Whoa, it's 30-3. What's 30-3? What's 30-3? I know that ain't the score of the Vikings game. I know that ain't what y'all telling me. I told you Dallas was going to win. That I never doubted because they own Minnesota, especially in Minnesota. But I know y'all not telling me the score is 30-3. I've been trying to tell Vikings fans, your shit is lucky. But y'all, I don't believe y'all. You need more people. It ain't 30-3, though. They ain't getting embarrassed like that at home. I don't believe you. Ricky D. Hustle. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Ricky D. Hustle, writes, Lou, we was in NRG deep today. More here than at FedEx Field, and I brought home the win left hand up. I've been talking to members of the MOBB and fans that were at the game, and they all said the same thing to a man. And we went in there and we took over the stadium. And it looked like it on television. It didn't look like there were a ton of Texans fans there to begin with. And the fans that were there, they looked like they were wearing burgundy and gold. So I loved it. Feels good for a change for us to do that to somebody because you know what happens to us quite often. Feels good. And like I told everybody else that was at the game, you had one mission. You went in there. You were not swayed. You were not deterred. You knew what the mission was, and you executed, and you came home with the dub. And for that, I say salute. Hell of a job. Love it. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Red Wings 01, writes, don't see us making offs without going 10-7 with our division and top 2 West teams. Got to win the next 3 and steal one of the last 3, preferably San Francisco, so we get the tiebreak. You got to win. You want to win the next 3, and that would be great. But and we're past the point of stealing any goddamn thing. We ain't looking at nobody on the schedule is unbeatable. Ain't no stealing going on. All right. I look at Cleveland, I look at San Francisco, I look at Dallas, I look at the Giants. Those are the last 4 teams after the bye. Giants, 49ers, Browns, Cowboys. Ain't no stealing. I go into every single one of those games. If we stay where we are right now with the mentality that we have right now, and we got our dogs ready to go and they barking and they biting, I don't go into any of those games fearing anybody. We respect everyone, as Jack says, but I don't fear none of those teams. I ain't looking to steal nothing. We supposed to beat these teams. But to your point, we got to get there first. One at a time. I'd love to talk about being 8-5 heading into the bye with a 4-game heater and playing with a ton of momentum. And that would put us winners of 7 out of our last 8 if we were to do that. But one at a time. The Falcons are next, and they're dangerous. So let's take care of them first, and then we can talk about, all right, 1 week away from the bye, Giants stand in the way. Let's go to the Meadowlands on a mission and come back with the dub. But I think you're right about one thing. It's going to take at least 10 to get in. We can talk as much shit as we want about the conference and how wide open it is. But with the resurgence of the 49ers and the Seahawks playing much better ball than anybody anticipated, and they're not going away, you're going to have to win 10 games. And as I've mentioned, the beauty of what we have in front of us is we play Atlanta's 5-6. They're right in the mix. Okay. We play them next week. San Francisco is 5-4. They're right in the mix. They're ahead of us. They're right now currently the 7 seed. We play them. The Giants are ahead of us. They're 7-3. They're within arm's reach. We can reach out. Everybody was clowning us. Oh, y'all at the bottom. You know, I was making jokes about echoing when we were 2-4 on the last Super Friends stream. We ain't echoing no more. I look up and I can reach out and touch both the Giants and the Cowboys. I can see both of their asses. All right. They just a rock throw away. We play both of those teams. The Giants twice. There's no reason that whatever we want, we can go get it. It's right in front of us, but you got to want it. You got to go get it. So we got to beat San Francisco. Like you said, those are the ones you got to have. A tiebreak situation. That's why I said it's imperative. Didn't know Green Bay was going to implode. That's why it was important to beat the Packers. Just in case they decided they wanted to make a wild card run, we got y'all. Same thing with these Falcons coming up. Just in case they want to make a run at it, we got y'all. You know, 49ers, same deal. They don't win their division. I think they're going to go and take that division away from Seattle. But just in case they don't, and they're fighting for a wild card, I need to be able to say, hey, y'all got to finish one game clear of us in order to get in because we got y'all. We'll see what happens. Chauncey Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Scott Turner, don't trust Cam in the red zone. I don't know if it's necessarily a don't trust Cam in the red zone issue as much as it is. That's not what he's thinking about as a play call. You know, he's got his little sheet in front of him and he did, this I think this one will work. Instead of him just saying, all right, because I've already told you when you get into the red zone, it's less about matchups, X's and O's. And it's less about X's and O's. It's more about matchups. Jimmy's and Joe's, right? And he doesn't seem to understand that concept. He still wants to run his little plays in the red zone. This ought to work. I'll throw a bunch of shallow crossing routes, and then I'll have one guy in the back line of the end zone. Somebody will come open. No, how about you just line up your 6'5", 6'6" receiver against a 6 foot 5'11" defender and see if your guy can't go and win and get the football. Just a thought. But whatever. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Red Wings 01 writes, would also like to draft a cornerback who can run with the 4-3 guys. Juice struggled against speedsters like Alex Pierce and Quez Watkins. Well, we know he's not a speedster. He wins with length, and he does have athleticism. But that's, again, I view Juice as a really, like, I look at him the same way I looked at Bashad Breeland when he was here. He's, for what we need him for right now, he can feature as a 1. Remember that first year we got Bashad Breeland, and we thought he was a dominant number 1 type corner because he was running with Dez Bryant and shit like that. Dez Bryant ain't even a 4-4 dude. But when we put him up against Antonio Brown and the elite receivers, they cooked his ass because he's a 4-5 guy, is Bashad Breeland. Same thing with Juice. He's going to struggle with guys that can run because he's not a 4-4 guy himself. So I think he's a dominant too. That if you put an elite dude next to him at the cornerback position, now we got a hell of a tandem on our hands. But to your point, if you can run, guys are going to run by him a little bit. Still love him to death, though. Johnny Cash, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the generosity, Johnny Cash, who writes, Lou, Johnny, go, Johnny. Johnny, be good tonight. Yeah, yeah. Command Center Central. Love your heart, man. Made 100 bet, took money line and over bet, rolled it into a stack in the Philly game. Nice. Today, made another stack with Houston. Blessings. Let's eat. Oh, so you passing the blessings on. I love it, man. He said, I got blessed, so I'm going to bless you. I love it, man. It's the season of giving and blessings, man. Blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings. I love it. Almost a trifecta, but Antonio took the knee in the end. I'm not going to lie to you. I was being greedy. We didn't need it. Take the knee, go home. Defense doesn't have to come back on the field. I get it. He did the right thing. And just selfishly as a fan, I wanted the 30 piece. I wanted the 30 spot, but we weren't supposed to get it. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Big Money Sonny. Right. Luck smoking all the packs today. Falcons next. I love it. They are next. All right. And I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to be easy. But I'm feeling real cheesy and greasy and sleazy. Ready to do those boys. Clapping Big Texas cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, look at this super how Heinicke looked at Allen. Hey, go ahead, man. It was a nice scene, man. They love Heinicke. I'll just say that. Gunny Man, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, Gunny Man writes, I'm watching OnlyFans or Louie Tee. Missionary, LOL. This one was a little bit more explicit than normal. I kept it as G-rated as I could, man. But I just threw that out there earlier. Like, it's not a bad position, guys. Like, I just need y'all to understand where I'm coming from. That's all. OnlyFans, you funny. Gunny Man, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, double up, thank you for doubling up, Gunny Man. -5 yards at halftime. Enough said. Nothing else needs to be said. They had 6 total yards at halftime. Nothing else needs to be said. Not a single thing. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I ain't never had an ID, Lou. Watch your back. I wasn't talking about you having to show ID. You're a chameleon. You got all kinds of different aliases and different IDs and different passports. I wouldn't trust it if you showed it to me. I'm talking about the people that are actually themselves, and I'm questioning them thinking it's you. They need to present me with some ID. John Livingston, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. JL Smooth, who writes, it was the feeling of being trapped. That's not a good feeling. It's not. No one likes to feel claustrophobic. Even when you're not claustrophobic, no one likes to feel like you're somewhere and you can't get out. He said, just so glad it's over and I can leave my house when I want to. We take the little things for granted in life, don't we? Till it's taken from you and you realize, damn, just to be able to open your damn door and go outside. Think about being snowed into where it's so much snow on the other side of your door, you can't even get out of your front door. Think about that. That's some shit we don't think about because we take that for granted. Says, but the Bills are going back, hopefully for Trey White and Kyer Elam, because damn, I hope the Bills are going to be okay, because if it's not you, I don't think anybody else can contend with the Chiefs in the AFC. It's got to be you. You got to be that team. Because if it ain't you, I don't think it's anybody else in that conference. Maybe the Dolphins. Maybe. We'll see. Wow, 37-3? What? Y'all shitting me. I got to look at my phone. I wasn't going to look at my phone. But y'all got to be shitting me, man. Yeah, right. 37-3? Jesus! Oh, my God. It's 37-3. What in the holy hell is going on in Minnesota? I knew Dallas would win. Not like that. Oh, my stars. I'm not going to overreact to that because I already told y'all how I felt about Minnesota. And I already told you on Friday I thought Dallas would win, but 37-3? Oh my God. That is assault with a deadly weapon. That's 25 to life. Do the Cowboys know that right before Thanksgiving? That's a felony assault. Whew. Jesus. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Whew. That's nasty. Who writes, I got called delusional when I said Vikings and Eagles would get to the playoffs and get smashed. They didn't even make it that far. They're both frauds. I won't go as far as calling anybody fraudulent that sports an 8-1 record. I just called them lucky. I won't call them fraudulent. They're just lucky. But luck counts too. You much rather be on the right side of luck than on the wrong side of it. They've been on the right side of it this year. But their luck clearly has run out in this particular game. Their streak is up. The jig's up. The Eagles, you're not lucky at 9-1. I mean, you're not fraudulent at 9-1. Okay. The couple of years ago in 2020, the Steelers were 10-0 and they were fraudulent. But you could see that they were a house of cards waiting to fall. That's not what the Eagles look like to me. They look like a team that's flawed. that has some issues that they got to clean up, but they're still a good football team. The Vikings, they seem more, fraudulent, but I don't even think they're fraudulent. I think that's a good football team. I just don't think that they're what their record indicates. They're not as good as their record says they are. So, at the crib though, whew, that's nasty. Daily Grind. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, they cut the Cowboys game off. It was so bad. They probably went to Steelers and Bengals. That's a closer game. I saw 24-23. Yikes. Zoinks. Scoop. And you know what's crazy is that I had my guy, Black Al B, big Vikings fan, tell me that, Lou, the color hate looks bad on you. And I'm like, I'm not hating, bro. I'm just telling you about your squad. Y'all lucky. Y'all not as good as your record indicates. I'm not going to go out as far on the limb as some of y'all and call them fraudulent or a bad team and they suck. I'm just going to tell you, you're not as good as you think you are. That's all I'm saying. I told you I wanted to pick the Vikings for the sake of just picking against Dallas and rooting for them, but I know better. You know better. You know better. Or at least I do. Maybe you don't. I do. Sheesh. Chief on Chief. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, can we get some Last Dragon, Lou? You got that glow. You feel as though you can't let go. Your mind and soul, it lose control. It's the power of elevation. You got that glow. He says, because when you got that glow, ain't no stopping what you want to do. You know what it is. Clearly, the Cowboys got that glow right now. Sheesh. Anyway, Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, legs behind the head. Missionary, Lou. Missionary. See, that's when y'all taking it a step too far right there. Now, Gunny Man, you can say, is this a OnlyFans or is this the post-game Washington Commanders show? Which I'm confused. That's when you can start making those kind of comments, okay? Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes that the chat wild goosing today. You got that jersey, you should know. They wild goosing today. Hey, go ahead. Got another super chat. This one is from Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks writes, now I can leave till 7 digits are in my hand. And at Lil Blue. Y'all know what it is. Sing it to him. Sing it to him. Sing it to him. Spence Khalees, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Feel like a double up might be a triple up. This might have been your third one. Either way, my guy Spence writes, you missed my last one, buddy. I want my double up. I felt like I've already read 2 of yours. I don't know if you went to the kitchen and got a sandwich, but either way, double up. I'm gonna double up again for you, even though I already did it. Appreciate you, Spence Khalees. All right, and that is it. We're out of here. You guys were awesome, just like the Washington Commanders were today, specifically defensively, as they dominate the Houston Texans 23-10. Get over 500 this late in the season for the first time since 2018. Let that shit sink in a bit. All right, 6-5 over 500 mark for the first time since 2018 this late in the season. And we're not done. We just getting started. All right, this defense, they dangerous. And these are the types of teams that other teams don't want any part of as the weather gets cold and you start to get later in the season and you're like, I don't want any parts of that. You don't want any parts of teams like Washington. If we can figure out some shit on the offensive side of the football, we become uber dangerous because of how we attack teams, how we get after the quarterback. We're stopping the run. The Texans had one strength. We put that shit to sleep. I mean, night, we put it to bed. No running for Dameon Pierce. As a matter of fact, I'm curious to see exactly what Dameon Pierce's rush total was on the afternoon, because we absolutely kicked his ass in this game. Dameon Pierce, 10 carries, 8 yards. The man had he averaged less than 1 yard a carry. 0.8 yards per carry for Dameon Pierce. If that ain't shutting the run game down, I don't know what is. Okay. That's how you say, all right, that's the thing you do the best. You won't do it today. That's what dominant defensives do. That's what we did today. I love it. Want more of it. So with that said, clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, can you reread that in Bobby Valentino's voice? No, I'm not doing that. I don't even know what Bobby Valentino sounds like. I know how he sounds when he sings. I don't even know what he sounds like when he talks. Anyway, Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, time to donate that black gear to Salvation Army. I told you, that's always a novel concept, but you never give away your black gear. You never know when you're going to need it. But it's good to not need it, right? This feels like home. This feels like what I'm supposed to be doing. All white, with a splash of burgundy and gold. This feels right. White background. This is what it's supposed to be, but it ain't always what it's going to be. So hold on to your black gear just in case. All right. Anyway, Gunny Man, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, and one suplex by Ridgeway. Boy, that was a power bomb. That wasn't no damn suplex. That was a power bomb. That shit was different. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Y'all get out of here. Greatly appreciate y'all, man. Look forward to chopping it up with y'all. Some of y'all will join me later on for Sunday Night Football overtime. It's a dandy, Chiefs and Chargers. Look forward to watching that one, seeing who comes out on top there. And we'll chop it up again tomorrow. Remember, this is going to be a different week. I'll explain next week. Normally, I take my bye week the week of Thanksgiving. Not doing that this year, but I will explain to y'all in greater detail what's going to be going on and what to expect from yours truly this abbreviated week with all the festivities. We'll get into that next week. But in any event, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see a lot of you later on for the overtime. As I mentioned, Washington gets it done 23-10, 6-5 on the season. Texans drop to 1-8-1. Got one final super chat on the way out from Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, slow down. I just want to get to know you, but don't turn around. You know what's going on in these comments, Lou. I already know. Y'all was probably on some X-rated shit going on. I feel bad because I started that. And I really didn't mean to, but I did. Anyway, I digress. Y'all get out of here, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. We won. Celebrate. We over 500. We 6-5, and we took care of business like we supposed to. Feel good about that. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Louie Tee Network.
Got one more super chat on the way out. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, February 11th, 2023, all white. And you got to make it to the show first. You got to make it to the playoffs before you can start making those types of declarations. But sounds good. But you got to have all white in January, in December 1st, into January to get to February. But anyway, I digress. Y'all get out of here. Have a good one.